Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Asad and Landen. I'm joined as always by Landon Hansen, and welcome back to the Cleric podcast, the podcast where one of us hasn't played Sekiro. Landon, explain to me why you hate Japanese people.
I'd never said anything about Japanese people ever. In fact, I've never even seen a Japanese person, so I can't even. Why would I hate them?
Somehow more racist. I've never once even considered a Japanese person. Lennon, it says here that your favorite rappers you claimed are Eminem, Macklemore, half of Logic, and half of Drake. You're quoted here, and I'm just reading this article. It's saying, hip-hop is like life, the whites are supreme. Care to elaborate on that?
I have a De La Soul record back there, so I love the Blacks. The Blacks are great. They're awesome people.
Again, somehow I'm setting you up for like the most racist things possible, and you're one up.
I'm not racist, dude.
You said the Blacks. I don't think you're. Oh no.
You grow up in a small town, and this is not serious at all. I'm like the most liberal white guy.
Staring in the camera. Tell Isaac to make sure not to cut this out.
Isaac, please.
Just save me.
I feel so much white guilt right now. Do you want me to do like tears, or are we?
No, I feel like that's good. I feel like people will come to the conclusion that they want to come to from that.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not racist.
I can see like the sweat coming down your forehead right now. You're struggling.
Segue.
Yes, everybody, we'd like to thank you for joining us for episode 5 of the Cleric podcast, the final episode of the podcast. I think Landon might disown me after putting him through that.
Done. We really appreciated all the views.
Oh, no.
I'm not going to call myself out like that.
Come on. We got a lot of fun stuff this episode, Landon. Our biggest gaming disappointments. I'm very excited to get into that.
Yes.
You finished Doom 2016 for the first time.
Yes.
That I'm excited to hear about. I spent like 4 hours the other day beating the final boss of Lies of P Overture. That guy was a menace. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then, yes, we'll be wrapping things up with a new indie game that you should put on your wish list, as always. But before all of that, we would like to thank you for joining us for Code Cleric Episode 5. Code Cleric is an independent production supported by people like you. If you'd like to support us, follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave a comment or a review. That is super helpful. It goes a long way. Share us with your friends, and let us know what topics you want to see next.
Listen, if you do it, if you subscribe, Asad is going to personally kiss you on the forehead. Personally. He's going to do it. He signed up for it. And I told him we didn't need to do that. We need to show appreciation for the viewers, the supporters at home. And so he said he was going to do it. And I'm just like, he's a bigger man than me. I'll say that much.
That's so funny that you mentioned that, because I don't know, maybe this is like a weird break in the simulation, or maybe you just said this before, and so I had it on my mind for some reason. But I was thinking that if I was the one who was gonna say like, hey, what'll happen if there's a review, I was gonna say you were gonna go to their house and kiss them on the forehead. So that was like really weird to hear.
We're like,
what the fuck just happened?
We're like in Freak.
Yeah,
right we're on the same Freak.
We're turning into the same person.
As in frequency.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not in.
We're matching each other's
stuff.
freak. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'm not gay.
Yeah. We've hit them all. You said, what did you say? You said, I'm not racist. I'm not gay. What else did you say? You had another one there. I don't know. You're collecting.
I'm not
anti-Semitic.
Like Infinity Stones. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'll say that. I'll say that much. Yeah.
So terrible.
I know. I'm like being. I'm like. This is like textbook definition of like white man crumbling. Like.
Landon.
Sorry
I'm excited
to
spend the next. Oh, no worries. I'm excited to spend the next couple hours just dunking on games.
Yes.
Usually we prop games up. We love developers, and a lot of these games, these are their babies. But the truth is, some babies are ugly. just gnarly looking, deformed messes. You don't want to take a look at them. So today we're going to be looking at a bunch of babies and saying, hey man, I wish you were never born. So
see, I have a couple babies here that I don't appreciate. Well, I appreciate to an extent. They're like kind of cute, but there's like it's like ugly cute, you know? That's kind of the babies I'm bringing to the table here. You know, the babies with like the birthmark that like
this covers... is also it sounds so bad. Out of context.
The babies that like would be thrown off of a cliff in like Rome.
Right.
You know.
Oh, okay.
You know, like just. But they're like, if they grew up, they would have been fine. You know, they would have been like contributing members of society.
Were you a good-looking baby?
I was not. No, I was actually a horrible-looking kid until high school. High school is when like I started like I was like, oh wait, I'm gonna grow into like I'm not. I mean, I was still like awkward and like
the mustache.
Lanky. Yeah, but the mustache did a lot.
You were born with the mustache. You're like, one day I'll grow into this. It'll look normal at some point.
But I was not. No, it's just like I was like. I mean, I was like cute to an extent, you know, but like I'll be honest, white kids are just not that cute. So it's just like.
Is that a fact?
No, that's like a fact, dude. I mean, not obviously not every white kid, but like most times I look at like white babies or like white kids, and I'm just like, you know.
That sounded like too real. That sounded like guttural.
It's a fact. It is just it's true. So
I mean, I'll defy expectations as, you know, not a white person, but I was not a good looking baby.
Yeah.
I was like, first of all, my jaw was too far back. It actually was like that for the majority of my life.
You had a leafy jaw?
Yeah. It was like. It was so bad I could stick almost my entire thumb in the gap between like my back teeth and my front teeth. Like, it was just that far back. I had like headgear as a kid. I had like this special retainer thing that would push my jaw forward with like giant blocks that would like, you know, move it forward. But also I was like
cyborg.
Yeah. I've only just now gotten to the point where I have retainers. Before this, I was Invisalign. Before that, it was braces. Before that, it was those specific retainers that brought my jaw forward. Before that, it was headgear. Like, yeah, it was gnarly. So I was also like a bit of a heavy set young lad.
Really?
When I
want to see pictures.
When I was well, there's not that many pictures of me as a kid, which kind of speaks for itself. My parents are like, no. We'll get him next time. We'll get him later in life.
They were deeply ashamed.
Exactly. There's not that many pictures of me as a kid, but it was only when I was like 2 or 3 years old where I was like a heavy little kid. And the joke in my family was always that I didn't change weight between the ages of like 2 and 15. Because I got taller, but then it would just like I'd get skinny. It was like a tube. It was like pushing in my sides and just elongating me. But it was the exact same weight regardless. And then at a certain point, I was in high school. I was like 5'9", like the same height that I am now. Yeah. 5'9", and like 120 pounds, which is not good.
No,
it's not healthy. I mean, it's not.
That's kind of what I was at too, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I struggled to gain weight when I was younger. Now, I mean, I still have like a pretty fast metabolism, so I can like eat whatever and I'll be fine. But I'm not as like
you dickhead.
I had like zero body fat. Like it was like borderline like underweight, and I was like, shut up, don't call me dickhead. That wasn't even funny. So I don't even know why you said that. But like now I'm getting the body fat now, and I'm just kind of like okay, I gotta start taking things seriously now. I knew this day was gonna come.
You're like 21, right?
Yeah,
that's when it happens. I feel like a lot of the time.
Yeah. So if I progressively get more and more fat throughout the show, you know
throughout
why.
This show, throughout this episode,
I just
scarfing things down while I talk.
It's gonna be bad. And then at the end of the show, I'll vor Asad, and then we'll. That's when the episode. That's when the show will end. Is when I vor you.
What does that mean?
So you ever look up Sonic Vor?
Oh no, I don't want to.
Viewers at home, look up Sonic Vor. It's
I
really
can
nice
already
and
tell that's
wholesome.
something that I really don't want to look at.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said Sonic.
No wonder you
probably should've
hate
just said
Sonic.
Vor. Don't even bring me there, man. Don't even. I just hate that you brought that up right now. So
You brought it up.
I know.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
Are you ready
yeah.
to? Are you ready to? I was gonna say, are you ready to rate these children? I was like, wait.
Is this a beauty pageant?
Wait. We're gonna rate these. We're not gonna rate these games. We're gonna be talking about the games that disappointed us, that are the children of the developers. It made sense if you listen to the rest of it. I promise. The whole setup made sense. We've all done it, right? You see a new shiny trailer for something. It looks way too good to be true, mind's eye type beat, and then maybe it's from maybe it's from a developer or a series that you really like. It's never let you down before, and you're like, there's no way this is gonna be bad. Like, there's no possible way this could be bad. God forbid you even pre-order the damn thing. And then you get your hands on it, and either it's really bad or maybe it wasn't what you were expecting. Sometimes it's like, it's actually good, but I feel like just the expectations you had for it were just made it crumble in your hands. So we're going to be talking about, why we were excited about these games, what they meant to us, and why they disappointed us. If you want to offer suggestions on what you thought might go better, might have gone better if they had implemented it, you can go ahead and do that too. We're both gonna have 3 games that we're talking about, and I want to start with you, Landon. What is your biggest? Actually, do you want me to guess? Is it like, do you want to do that again?
So I'm gonna go in order from like least disappointed to most disappointed.
Okay.
If you would like to guess, just throw a game out there, and I'll tell you whether or not I'm disappointed all the time, but I'll tell you whether or not I was disappointed by this game and or game franchise.
I know you were disappointed in Fallout 76. You've talked about
Yes.
this before.
Yes.
I don't know if that's on your list.
Yes.
Okay.
It is. I want to save it for later though.
Okay.
So,
What else? Give me a hint towards what this might be.
hello there.
Shit.
If you're not with me, that means you're my enemy.
I don't know what this is.
You don't know what this is?
I don't think I do. Or I do know what it is, but I just don't know the memes around it.
It's over. I have the high ground.
Oh. Well, that's not a game. Or is it a game?
There are games.
Okay.
I want you to guess what
right.
game. It's Star Wars. What Star Wars game would you think would disappoint poor little old Landon?
Well, you really like Battlefront, but maybe you were disappointed with it first.
Yes. Yes. Okay. My first choice is Star Wars Battlefront 2015 and 2017. So a little precursor here. I love the original Battlefront games. Those games are like nostalgic as hell, super sick.
When did those come out again?
I think Battlefront 2 was in 2005. I don't remember when Battlefront 1 came out. I'll be honest, I have not a lot of experience with Battlefront 1. In fact, Battlefront 1 in both cases, in like the old and like the new one, didn't fuck with at all. I was just like, it's lame, boring, whatever. Battlefront 2 in both cases were like that was like the golden sheep for me. I was like, this is some good stuff. So Battlefront 2, the original, had a ton of awesome game modes. It had a story mode. It was like the fact that like my favorite game mode from that thing was a mode called Galactic Conquest, where you would pick like an era. And at the time, there was only the 2 eras. So the original trilogy and then the prequel trilogy. And it was a star map. And it was like a big like tactical battle between you and another player where you're conquering planets. And you go over to the planet, you take it over, but then on like the other side, as the opponent, you can go to that planet, attack it, and then you're on boots on the ground fighting for this planet. And then at the end of it, you get like bonus points, rewards points. You can get like more troopers. You can buy like heroes, so you can like buy yourself an Obi-Wan Kenobi for a certain battle. it wasn't even just planets too. There would be like space stations that you can go to and have like a space war, a star war, if you will.
Oh,
Where
wait a minute.
you have like the motherships. So like the clone ship and then like the droid ship. And then you would go to the hangar, you would pick a ship. There was like multiple different like spaceships for you to choose from. Get in it, fly it, in, destroy like the turrets, destroy like the shields. You can go inside, like infiltrate the ship itself, and then go to the engine core, throw a bunch of grenades, and then get the fuck out of there, and you win. And it's like, this is awesome. This is all in the grand, like in a grand scheme battle. And I loved it. The gameplay is fine for the most part. It's like generic PS2 kind of like shooting, and then like, you know, if you're a lightsaber guy, you go up and you just like mash X to like, kill them. And you have like some force abilities too that were pretty fun. But the map design was really cool. It's really nostalgic. It's just generally some really special games. I actually haven't played. I know they re-released them not so long ago. I heard they were kind of botched at first, but now they're like at a point where it's fine, which seems to be a theme with this fucking series. It was great. I like.
Well,
Yeah. Go on.
Sorry, I was gonna say, let me maybe spoil what comes next, but if I'm remembering correctly, because I'm not really a Star Wars guy, and I didn't play the Battlefront games, but I saw them because they were like a spectacle, like a car crash you couldn't look away from when the new ones came out. Am I wrong in saying that they didn't have like flying and dogfighting in Battlefront, like the new Battlefront, and then they had to bring it back for Battlefront 2, and then they were like, look what we did? I feel like I remember this. Okay.
Yeah, no, Battlefront 1, the remake was, or like the like reboot, was so bare bones. It was crazy. It was insane how little they had in it. Like the original games were like super nostalgic. Me and my family, we loved them. And like when we got Battlefront 1, it was right around the time Force Awakens was coming out too. So like Star Wars hype in general was really like, it was in the air. And I was a big Star Wars kid. I was like super huge into it. I like my peak fandom was when Battlefront 2 was in its like heyday. And that's when like Jedi Fallen Order came out, and then that's when like the Mandalorian was good. There was generally still a good time to be a Star Wars fan, minus like the last two movies. But the first movie, which is good, the first movie is pretty. The first new movie, The Force Awakens, is generally pretty good. It's just pretty safe. The energy there was crazy. The game to coincide with it, bare bones, boring, looked fantastic. It looks awesome. It looks really, really cool. The fact, and like some of the scenery that they have there, where it's like you're on Hoth as a rebel trooper, you see Vader on the horizon. It's like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh shit, and you're just like fighting for your life. It's Battlefield, but with a coat of Star Wars paint. And what sucked is just, not a lot of game modes, no single player content, no galactic conquest, not a lot of heroes, only one era, I think. I think they only had the original era for Battlefront 1, which is like...
Damn, not even Reputation?
Yeah.
Not 1984?
I don't know.
They didn't have... no folklore. It's just Taylor Swift.
Oh, ew!
You said eras.
You said folklore, and I was like, oh wait, that's familiar. Gross. So it just, I don't know. The game was like very underwhelming, lackluster, and then I'm like hearing percolations of Battlefront 2, and I was like, oh shit. Wait, they're doing it. There's the prequel trilogy here. Like, you could play in the prequels. That's awesome. That was the Star Wars shit I grew up with primarily. And I was loosely excited. And then they just, like, handed me a plate of silver shit. The loot box scenario was, like, it's comical how bad it was.
Yeah.
Just the general lack of content still, even though it was like more than the first game, I guess. They had a story mode that was balls, just straight like balls. It was not good at all. Another disappointment. And it's just like, these were like the multiplayer games I actually played as a kid. I mean, I played Call of Duty occasionally too, but like these are the ones that I really, really liked. And so just to see it just kind of like totally shit the bed was really... it was really disheartening, but it was like, I don't know. I'm not really playing multiplayer games that often anyways. Whatever. Who cares? You know? It's a shame. It's EA though. Like, what am I going to do about it? It was such an obvious case of EA, like, money grubbing, because there was something special there, actually. And I came to learn that there was something special there because they fixed it. They actually made a good game there, because a couple years later, my brother's like, Landon, Star Wars Battlefront 2 is $2 on the PlayStation Store. I'm playing it. It's wonderful. You should get it. We should play this together. We played it all the time. It was.
I'm a little shocked that they didn't shut down the servers.
Honestly, the servers themselves, they haven't shut down, but they did stop support for it. Pretty well. So I'm playing this game and I love it. There's a lot there to love. The heroes versus villains is some of like my favorite gaming memories there. I was a fucking menace with Darth Maul. It was really great. And the actual like battle modes themselves are really cool. Like it would start boots on the ground, and then the battle would transition into like a space fight where you have to like get in the ship, and then you have to like assault the ship. And it was really cool. And then they just decided, and they dropped a couple updates after that too. It's like, oh, here's like some, who was like souped up clone troopers. It was a lot of stuff in the prequel era. They did not touch the sequel era at all. They knew the stank that was surrounding that, because this was after Last Jedi. This was during the Rise of Skywalker. Mm-hmm. They added like one skin from Rise of Skywalker, and it was the exact same Rey skin, but just with a yellow lightsaber.
Yikes.
It was bad. And like the major update I got to experience with that game was when they added new heroes and new villains. And guess who they added? BB-8, and then some nameless ass fucking black droid. Not like that.
Whoa.
Not like that.
Why'd you say it like that? You had such
I'm not helping my case. Some First Order Nazi droid that was black, but that doesn't matter. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That was black. Like,
he also was probably undocumented. He just goes on a tirade.
Who else? Okay. And like they added these two droids that. So you're playing heroes versus villains. You got Luke Skywalker. You got fucking Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, BB-8 up against Darth Maul, Darth Vader, Count Dooku, and T. I
know he's a character. That's cool.
I know. It is funny. It's funny. So he's like the most glup shitto like Jedi, like Sith in that fucking series. It's crazy. And then alongside those three like menacing Sith, you get like T-68 or something like that. Just a little ball that goes up and shocks you. And it's like, bro, why did you decide to add these characters? And then after that, they're like, oh, by the way, EA is shutting us down. We're not supporting the game anymore. And it was like, no, dude. There was so much potential. Well, they had more
important things to do, Landon. They had to make Battlefield 20, which one was it? 2049?
2049? Yeah.
2042?
Yeah. I think 2042. The game that didn't have leaderboards.
Yeah. Because what was it? Was too toxic or something like that?
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, it's like a historically bad run from them.
It is.
And it's just, it really is disappointing. And it reminds me a little bit in kind of an opposite way. It reminds me of how things went. I don't know why these two games come to mind, but Overwatch and Titanfall. Because Titanfall didn't have a ton of content. Mm-hmm. And then Titanfall 2 is like one of the best shooters, right?
Yes.
Overwatch 2 sucks balls. However, Overwatch 1 was like revolutionary, right? Mm-hmm. So it kind of like, they both, in a weird way, their originals and their sequels even each other out in like a strange cosmic sense.
Yeah.
And this one, it was just like, how do you put out something that just has like no content, and then your big comeback is another game that has no content, right? Like, imagine if they followed up Halo Infinite 2-3 years later with like
Stop.
Halo Still Infinite, and it just had like 3
Halo
different maps.
Still Infinite.
Like, Like what? Like I don't understand. Like it's just so silly. I don't
Oh
understand.
no. But this time we get the Pacific Northwest, but it's a little like more orange, like fall.
Ooh.
Yeah, on top of the same map.
Get ready for winter.
Oh my god, dude! Halo Infinite's another That's my honorable mention, actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about it. I like that game, and I can't believe how bad they fumbled that. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, the fact that they just pulled the plug on it when it was getting really good just really goes to show they don't know what they have. They didn't know what they had at all. They're like, we're sorry about this. To the last cherry on top of like the final thing that they said when it came to Battlefront 2 was like, hey, so a big part was like getting cool skins. Like you could build up points to in-game points. Like they totally transformed how you get cosmetics in that game, where you can do it naturally in-game. It was really great. And a big point that really sucked, especially as a Darth Maul player, was that he didn't have any of the skins. He just had a black robe. That was really boring. And it's like, man, there's so many cool things you can do with Darth Maul. Give him his little Roblox legs from robot legs from the Clone Wars. That'd be pretty sick. And they did the very last update, but you couldn't buy it. You had to do a challenge where it was kill 10,000 enemies as Darth Maul, and that number is a shockingly high amount. It was so high that they had to nerf it because too many people were complaining.
That's actually so funny for Battlefront 2, like the end game of it to be that they went so far in the other direction that you have to grind the game and you can't buy like all this stuff.
No, it was like a complete overcorrection. And it was like,
man, that's really funny. I had no idea about that.
I was totally gaslit into liking the skin too because it was a new skin. And then
and it was Roblox legs. So that's cool.
I was really building myself towards it. Like, I'm a Darth Maul main. Of course I got to get this skin. But then the more I looked at it in the shop, the more I was like, I kind of don't like it. He kind of, it looks like he's just wearing like a fucking Nike like tank top and then like robot legs. And it's like, the robes are way cooler.
It reminds me of when I was playing Fall Guys, because it was a challenge to get the Portal skin. And the Portal skin actually was pretty cool, but I remember like playing enough Fall Guys to get that Portal skin. And I don't really play multiplayer games. I don't really grind for skins or anything like that, but I was like, oh, it looks cool. And then I got it, and then I sat there for like 30 minutes. Like, what have I become? What's happened to me?
You're like...
I was playing Fall Guys tirelessly trying to get an outfit from Portal 2.
You're like...
For a game that I wasn't even going to play in like a week. I was like, what
when was this?
To me, dude? This must have been like peak COVID time. Isn't that when Fall Guys came out?
I mean, at least you had like time on your hands. You know?
Yeah, I think that was when I realized I was like, oh god,
yeah,
something must be done. I like went for a run that day or something. I was like, I can't be
You're like
this.
Shinji from Neon Genesis, where he's like hands are in his head.
Exactly. Yeah, I know exactly what that reference is.
Oh my god, you haven't seen that?
I don't
meme?
watch anything, dude.
Oh man, I mean, I'll be honest. It's been so long since I've seen Neon Genesis. I can't tell you what it's about anymore. But that's so funny that you say that, because that was around the time that last update was too. It was around like when COVID was like first starting up, so I had the time to like just mindlessly play. I was looking up strats, how to get the most kills in this game, and it was like, it was so fucking annoying. But yeah, that's me for my first major disappointment. Star Wars Battlefront as a franchise, lots of good stuff in there, just the wrong people to shepherd it. I don't necessarily blame the devs. I blame EA more than anything. It just seems like a lot of like upper management telling people it's like, this is Star Wars. This needs to be a fucking cash cow, and we need to have like loot boxes out the ass, and we need to have people grind. And then when they stopped, the whole thing blew up in their face, they're like, we're just not even going to care about this anymore. And the devs were kind of like, I guess we'll just pick up the pieces until the plug is pulled, you know? So yeah, will a Battlefront 3 ever happen? I'm going to be honest, I don't think so. I think I just don't think licensed games like that are really going to work out like how they used to, you know? So
I think they can. I mean, they've still put out like 100 million Star Wars games since.
Right.
Some of them have done well. Some of them have done poorly.
Yeah.
I'm sure Outlaws still sold decently. They just thought it would sell better because it was Star Wars.
Actually, I don't think Outlaws made a profit. I don't know though. So
There's no way it didn't
last
There's
time
no
I said
way.
this, I was wrong.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
no, like because that was one of the games Ubisoft was like contingent on. It's like, oh, we got a success here, and
No,
then
but
it wasn't a success, and so that's why Assassin's Creed Shadows was like so important to them, and that's why they're like basically selling at this point.
But the biggest thing with Ubisoft is that they keep having like weird expectations for their things. Like
That's
Prince
fair,
of Persia,
yes.
Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown actually it made a profit and you could view it as a financial success, but Ubisoft had this weird expectation of it. So I feel like all of those games seem like bigger
That's true.
failures than they actually are.
At the same time, though, like the licensing costs that you have for an IP like Star Wars, and for the game to sell mediocre, like you just don't make a lot of money back at all. But
Yeah,
let's
no, that
ask
makes
our
sense.
good old friend ChatGPT. Yes, Star Wars Outlaws was not a commercial hit, so it shipped around 1 million copies worldwide within its first month. And then Ubisoft publicly noted that it was softer than expected.
That is lower than you would think for a AAA Star Wars multi-platform game.
Right.
That's brutal.
So, I mean, to be fair, like it could be false. But
Yeah.
I remember hearing that it was not doing well at all. And it's solely because it was woke and because a lady was the protagonist.
No other reasons.
And
Absolutely.
no other reason at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was my first game.
Cool.
Okay. I'm gonna sit here and guess one of your disappointments.
I don't think you're gonna get them.
I think I'm gonna get all three of them.
I don't think you're gonna get any.
I think I'm gonna get all three of them right now.
What is my third one? I forget. I did cheat. I kind of did what you did with your favorite games, where I clumped a couple things in together. But regardless,
I mean,
you're
did
not
that
getting
with
any of these.
Battlefront. So
Yes.
I'm guessing Days Gone.
No,
Oh,
I didn't
out.
really care about Days Gone before.
I'm tapped out, man.
And then, honestly, I played it and it was fine. I think I also played that during COVID, and I was just like, I had zero expectations for this anyways. I played it a little bit post-released, so they'd fix some stuff, and I was like, okay.
See, me personally, I was really mad that he slapped his wife's ass in that game. So I
Oh, true.
I
Yes.
wrote it off completely. I was like, I'm
Absolutely.
not
I did
playing
hate
this.
the fact that he was straight and white. I was like,
Yeah.
"Grr,
Good old-
grr."
the iconic Deacon St. John.
Yes, who is too good for Astrobot. You saw that, right? It's ridiculous. Unbelievable.
Oh man.
Huh.
I don't know. I'm not guessing anything. Just let this disappointment wash over me. I want to feel the exact pain that you felt.
Okay. In that case, I'll give you the story of, without telling you the game yet, I'll
Okay.
say why there was like this excitement for me. Because this isn't a game that's from a series that I was very familiar with. It is from an existing series back in around 2015, I believe. This particular game came out. But the actual game series has been around since, I think, 2000. And it was a game that, it was when I was really starting to get into this a little bit more. This is like a post I've played Uncharted world and my mind is blown and I'm like, whoa, there's so much of this stuff out there. And I made a list with my brother and I was like, we don't have we only have like a little bit of money to spend on games and stuff. We were getting like a little bit of an allowance or whatever. So we were trying to figure out which games.
But before you announce the game, I'd like to have one more guess.
Okay. We were trying to look around for what game, we should spend our hard-earned money on, right? And we made a list. We made a list, and in true, it makes sense why I ended up becoming an engineer later in life, because I went in there and I really started data analyzing this, and I broke it down. I was like, what does the story look like? What does the gameplay look like? I gave it all numbers. I averaged them out. I was like trying to scientifically figure out which game is perfect for us, right? And keep in mind, some of these games hadn't come out yet. So this particular game, I was just looking at the trailers and what was happening. I was like, oh, this looks so cool. This looks perfect for us. And then it came out, and it was just like so underbaked. It wasn't even bad. It just like, it wasn't complete. And it made me very sad. And now I want you to guess what it was, Landon.
The Witcher 3?
No, no.
That's the only thing I had in my mind.
That was all you had in mind? That was what you had in mind for 2015?
Other
That's the only
than,
thing?
well, my other thought is No Man's Sky, but that's an original game, so I can't.
No.
Like, there's no pre-established games before that. Let me look up 2015 games. Can I look up 2015 games?
Yeah, sure. You could look them up. I think it was 2015. Let me make sure.
Let's see. Dying Light?
No, that's also not.
Oh wait, that's original. Yeah. No. Evolve.
Oh no, it was 2016. That's my mistake.
It was 2016. Oh, you freaking misinformationer, bro.
Yes. I'm so sorry. Led you astray.
There were some previously established games beforehand. Oh yeah, No Man's Sky was 2016, actually. The Last Guardian.
No.
Damn.
I'll give you one more, and then I'll reveal to you.
Okay. Was it like broken in any way, or was it just like underbaked?
I would say underbaked. I don't think it was really broken.
Okay. Final Fantasy 15.
No. It was Deus Ex Mankind Divided.
Oh.
Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I was looking at the stuff for that. I was like, oh my god, this looks incredible. It's a shooter. It looks like it has a great story. It was tackling kind of mature themes. It had a great aesthetic. It kind of felt like Cyberpunk before Cyberpunk, right? And obviously Deus Ex has existed before then, but I wasn't very familiar with it at the time because I wasn't very familiar with the broader game space. And I was just looking at it. I was like, I feel like this is perfect for us in every single way. It got like my highest score, and I was like, we have to get this game. And it was a weird one. It was one where moment to moment nothing was wrong, and I think maybe part of what made it feel a little bit underbaked to me was because I wasn't the biggest RPG person at the time, and I don't think I knew how to make a build and really like lean into a certain play style or things like that. Although I will contend that a well-made RPG will promote that kind of stuff to you, and it'll teach you how to do those things. And if the game is not standing on its own and you have to like really put in the thought or like know the genre in order to make it work, it's like that you might be missing something there at some point. But moment to moment when I was playing it, it was more than fine, but then it was kind of ramping up and up and up slowly, and it was getting better and better and better. And the second that it was kind of about to hit the point where it looked like it was about to get amazing, it ended. And I was like, what the hell? And apparently this is not like, this is a thing that I've thought about for so long. And then I didn't become a big Deus Ex fan after the fact. And then a couple years ago, I looked at the reception of this game, and it seems like it kind of matches my experience. Obviously, people there had been playing the game, playing the series for much longer, and so they were disappointed with certain other things. But it seemed to be a common. Yeah, no. Apparently, people had very similar thoughts. Also, so I have a few other things written down here. There was. I said there was a lot of emphasis on being able to play multiple ways. It is kind of like an immersive sim game, and it was like, it was built in a way where you could almost Dishonored-esque or System Shock or whatever, and you could go through areas in a lot of different ways, and there were hidden paths, and you could do all of these things, but it was so easy to just straightforwardly walk through all these areas and just kind of take people on head on that it kind of felt useless. Like that's the thing with Dishonored, for example, where you can fight people head on, but it feels clunky and wrong and more difficult at times to do it that way. And so it really encourages you to actually explore the level design, and it's a little bit bigger usually as well. This one was a lot of corridors from what I remember, a lot of rooms. And yeah, I just never found that the level design was all that intricate, and I never had the urge to go back and try different play styles because my first play style I didn't feel like was complete because the story and the overall progression system felt incomplete. The other thing about this game is that people were not happy with the microtransactions. There was microtransactions in a single player game. Yep, there was microtransactions in a single player game, remember this is 2016, so this is kind of the time where microtransactions are really starting to get on people's nerves, and especially in single player games for full price. It wasn't just cosmetic also. It was like you could buy chipsets or whatever, which were like the upgrade items and things like that. So kind of similar to your Battlefront example, where a big part of it's like, obviously the core game wasn't that fantastic. I was also underbaked. So a lot of similarities, but microtransactions being a big thing that rubbed people the wrong way. And I think it's a shame that this was my introduction to Deus Ex, because from everything that I've heard, the original Deus Ex games are great, especially if you're bigger into immersive sims. Deus Ex Human Revolution was a change of pace and maybe a little bit more into the linear action side of things. I don't think I went fully into that, but it was a bit more streamlined. But it still seems like it's a good game, and I probably would have really liked it if I gave it a chance. And then this one had the opportunity to be a really nice marriage of the two, and just didn't feel complete at all. Again, like I said, I think it had the chance to be a Cyberpunk-esque game, and Cyberpunk was also underbaked, and it wound up finding an audience. But I think this really had the ability to do that before all. I almost feel like I was less hyped for Cyberpunk because I remembered what happened with this game, and it just like had that weird association for me. Yeah. And there have been pitches to bring back Deus Ex.
Yeah, because that's what I was curious about, was like, is there a game to follow it up? And no, there isn't.
There's not a game to follow it up, no. And there's been pitches by, I believe it's Eidos Montreal that makes it. And
that's under Embracer now, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So their pitch got denied, or maybe it was canceled or something like that. And I think they've pitched something else, but it's not confirmed whether it's fully in the works. I believe that's the state of Deus Ex right now. Okay. I feel like it'll probably come back at some point. It is a kind of cult classic hit type thing. It reminds me a lot of Splinter Cell, but it also has more of a history than Splinter Cell, and it arguably is more core to what video games are. Deus Ex had a lot of revolutionary stuff the first couple games. So I feel like it'll come back. I hope it'll come back. I hope that I give it a shot. And I think I should go back and play some of the older games. But it was just a disappointing thing to be this excited about something like this and want to get into a series like that. And I'm sure that if this had hit, Deus Ex might have been a series that I really went back and played through, and it might have shaped how I play games today. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame, I think, how this went down, and I hope that they have a chance to come back.
That sucks, dude. I feel like this is a game that I probably would have been excited for too. I just had no concept of Deus Ex at all, other than like occasionally hearing stuff and like seeing the box art in like GameStop or something like that. I think there was one on the PS3 that I like maybe rented once, but I have no memory of at all.
I think that's Human Revolution.
Right. And so yeah, dude, I feel you. It's just, it looks cool. Like, I was looking at the trailers, I was looking at the gameplay, and I'm like, this is an immersive sim. I love immersive sims, dude. Like, and just for it to not come to fruition and for it to just, leave you blue balled at the end just sucks. Yeah. It's just I wonder what happened. Have you looked into like what, like the story behind the game at all? Like why it kind of didn't come to fruition?
I haven't looked that deep into it. I know that there's a decent amount of documentation out there on it, so I should go through and look at it, because it is interesting, and it's definitely not like a failure of a video game in terms of, it wasn't systematically broken or anything like that. Yeah. It just didn't do what it was supposed to, and it is a shame. And I feel like that's something I think will be a trend for both of us. Is your games, I think, might be more viscerally disappointing to you, or you like had this like crazy amount of hype and it was like really brought down a massive amount with the release, and you have like almost like a resentment towards it. Whereas I think a lot of my games, I'm just like, damn, this could have been better. This could have worked. It was almost there. So yeah, I think you'll see that with some of the other ones I bring up too.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. May I'd like to see it come back. It'd be really
Yeah.
cool to actually like fully experience the games because that's also a series like I'd like to explore a lot too. I've heard that there's some pretty crazy stuff from like that first game that is insane, especially today. So
Yeah.
I'd love to experience that myself. But
What do you got
Yeah.
for your second one?
second one is
Is this Fallout 76?
No.
Okay,
This
so
is-
your head honcho is Fallout 76.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
yes. This one, I want you to. I'm sure you're gonna. Actually, yeah, I'm sure you're gonna guess this. 2020. I'll just give you that.
2020. What came out 2020? Is it Cyberpunk? Were you
No,
Okay.
I was excited for it, but I wasn't like ecstatic about it. And when I saw
Yeah.
it kind of shit the bed, I was like,
Yeah. I was kind of the same. You liked The Last of Us 2, yes?
yes, but I was severely disappointed by part two.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. This is interesting. I want to hear. Your
Yes.
I've talked a lot about The Last of Us 2. I mean, my most recent video up until now is about The Last of Us.
Mhm.
I don't think I've gotten as many thoughts on it from you as I should.
So Last of Us 2, it's a journey. Like you experienced it, I experienced it. I think this is probably the number one game I was like the most excited for ever. Like my hype levels were through the roof. Huge Last of Us 1 fan. Uncharted made me love games in general. I just loved seeing games, but The Last of Us really made me love Naughty Dog. I was like, whoa, these guys, okay, these are the guys. Like, I know that they have a special sauce here. Not much more can be said about The Last of Us 1. Like, it's just, it did what it did. I was one of the people that loved every aspect about it. And that like teaser trailer was sick. It was so cool. I was super stoked about it. And so, yeah, like, there was like the little teaser trailer. That was pretty cool. I was like, oh, okay, grown up Ellie. That's neat. That's awesome. She has a cool tattoo. She's playing the guitar. Sick. And then there was even like, okay, by the way, spoilers for The Last of Us Part 2 if you haven't been spoiled already. And in that trailer, there's kind of like an ominous tone to it where it's like Joel's not in shot at all. You just kind of see him like often, like silhouetted. And which led a lot of people to believe that Joel was dead in that trailer, which ding, 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 ding.
Exactly.
But then they started releasing more promo material about it. They had that awesome gameplay trailer. It was the barn, the dance barn scene with
the
Ellie
one
and
that
Dina
converts, like it goes from their kiss to her
to the
slitting
gameplay,
the throat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane. Yeah,
I was floored when I saw that gameplay, dude. I was like, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
This is leagues. This is so fluid. This is so visceral. This is like she crawls under the truck. Then she gets pulled out of the truck and she slaps her fucking face. She starts running and then she like, it was incredible how detailed it was. And I was shocked. And then they started releasing more trailer footage. And then there's the scene where she like, gets down on the floor and then Joel grabs her and he's like, you think I'd let you do this alone, kid? And I was like, Joel's in the game. Let's go. Oh my God. I was so hyped. I was like, this is going to be the greatest game ever. I can't believe this is Naughty Dog. And then the game started to leak. And the leaks killed it for me, dude. I was like floored with what I heard. I was like, I couldn't believe that they just killed Joel right away. And it's just like, there was like some other stuff to it that I don't really remember. And I just remember I was a big fan of Moist Critical at the time as well. And so I was hearing him talk about the leaks and everything like that. And he was giving me an impression about the game, like pre-established. And I was just kind of like, damn, this sucks. They just dropped the ball. What the fuck? I'm not even playing this game. I'm not going to play this game. I was confused. I was just really disappointed. I was just going to watch a gameplay. Like, I was just going to watch a playthrough. I was watching PewDiePie playthrough, actually. So I sat down and started watching his playthrough. And then I went to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. and there's this like second-hand store there. It's called Last Stop CD Shop. It's fire. If you're in Sioux Falls, go to Last Stop CD Shop. I'm sure you are.
All our Sioux Fall viewers out there.
Yeah. And there in the games, they have an awesome game selection, and there was a used copy of The Last of Us Part 2, like not too far out from. It was like maybe like a couple weeks or like a month out of release. And I was like, $40, okay. Snagged it. I was really broke at the time, so it was like, if getting the game $20 off, like basically unreleased, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll might as well. And I popped it in. I hated it. I loved it. I hated it. I loved it. I hated it. I loved it. I was like I was so confused. I was like, on the gameplay front, that game is sublime. It's amazing. It's like, I really love playing and like being in that world. I wasn't so sure about the story choices. In fact, I really disliked it. I really hated that they killed Joel instantly. I know, like, in your video you say that like the beginning of The Last of Us Part 2 is like the weakest, like, Naughty Dog kind
writing,
of like,
and yeah,
and that is the part of the game that I cherish the most, because that's when things are normal, and like before they hit the shit hits the fan, where it's just like, I can at least live in this world for a little bit where like things are kind of fine, you know. And I do agree that it is like the worst writing. That's why it's so frustrating. Like, the game is so fucking frustrating. It's unbelievable. I'm like shaking right now just thinking about it. And
what did I call? I think in the video I called it a emotionally manipulative piece of shit.
Yeah.
Which is like, and that's coming from somebody who loves that game. Like, I really like that game. I replayed it just recently. Like, I rolled credits on it a few days ago on my replay on it. And it was one of those things where I was like, what a game. I totally understand why I didn't replay it all these years in. Like, oh my god, dude! Like,
I have a hard time replaying
It's a ridiculous game. It's a ridiculous game. It's just silly at points of how much it is asking the audience at all times, to the point where, you know, like, this is why I've always been of the mindset of like, I don't really care if people dislike, like, the amount that it's asking from its audience is almost unreasonable, and I think that's part of what makes it really good. And that's part of what makes me appreciate it. And that's part of what I like about it as like an artistic statement. Yeah. And also, you know, I like a lot of the other things that it says. I like the gameplay. I like the moment to moment, like the acting, the cutscenes, the yada yada, whatever.
Yeah.
But it definitely is something that, you know, they knew people weren't going to be normal about it. They were saying before, like, people are not going to be ambivalent about this. They're going to have an opinion no matter what. And to the last thing I'll say is to your point of them putting in Joel in that scene where in the actual game it's Jesse. They, like, Neil Druckmann and a few others have come out on the DVD or not the DVD, but the director's cut commentary, and been like, yeah, I don't know how we feel about this now, because the whole the reason that they apparently did it was because people had, like you said, guessed that Joel had died early in that first trailer, and they were trying to throw them off the scent. And, you know, I think there's a case for subtly doing this, cutting certain trailer parts together. I think they could have gotten away with, you know, cutting in the parts of the trailer where Joel and Ellie are a little bit younger, which I think they did. And I think they actually switched some of the models in those scenes, so it looks like older Ellie is actually in those scenes. It's something weird. Point being, they could have done it in a more subtle way. I mean, even the MCU did it with Infinity War, where they put different characters in scenes where they weren't actually, because they didn't want to give up the ghost. But yeah, I think they definitely went too far with it, and
they did.
They had that. I've seen that clip of Neil Druckmann being like, I wonder if I have mixed feelings on this. And I was like, I feel like you should have pretty negative feelings on that. You fucked up there. Like, that one's not even, like, there's a lot of things that you can debate about The Last of Us. I think that one's one where it's just like, why? What were you doing? What was that?
It's, and this is kind of like the thing that I have with this game, is that it's frustrating, but I understand why. I understand why you're doing this. And, like, I like the idea that you're ripping Joel away from me. in that like it's as heart-wrenching as it is for you it's not as heart-wrenching as it is for Ellie in the context of all things, but it's like you still feel it. It's like, damn, that was like love or hate Joel. That was your guy because he was portrayed as your guy. Like, and it's like at the time, dude, it was a total like false advertisement in terms of like what you were getting. And like that's generally like the one thing I think they really fucked up the most with. I think the game actually would have been a lot better off if, for one, they didn't do that, and for two, they didn't leak. Not that was their fault, but like those leaks destroyed that game.
Any chance of like any positive. I actually managed to avoid the leaks, which I think has an effect on the way that I perceive the game. Because I remember hearing about the leaks and I heard that they were terrible, but I love that game so much. Like I love that franchise so much that I was like, I'm not going to look at it. And I avoided it for so long. I couldn't believe I avoided it for so long. And I was so worried about whether it was going to be good. I actually asked a friend of mine who didn't play games and he wasn't interested in this stuff at all. I was like, can you look at these leaks and tell me if I should genuinely be worried about, like, I was going through it. I was like, this sucks, man. And he read through it and he was like, obviously he didn't really have the context for everything, but he was like, honestly, it seems kind of cool. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a complete dog shit ass experience. It seems kind of interesting. And so that was enough to kind of make me wait until the reviews came out. And I remember waiting. I was up for the release embargo of the reviews, and I remember it being like really late night or something. I might have even stayed up well past like a certain amount of hours because I couldn't sleep properly waiting for these reviews to come in, and saw one review that was like, it is unequivocally a masterpiece, and like the way that my soul left my body, I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God that at least some people have some like, I understand that like reviewers and this, that, and people are like, I don't trust game reviewers or whatever, but at least some people were taking something beneficial from this, and it wasn't outright just like, what is happening? This is so terrible.
Yep.
And I think the fact that was how I went into it, I think that definitely affected some of the ways that I took that experience and kind of digested it and instantly became a fan of it, rather than it having to win me over, even though it did at points during the game have to win me over.
Yeah. I really did not know how to feel about the game, especially when I beat it. I like had this total like listless feeling in my stomach where I was just like, I don't know if I liked it. I did like bits of it. I really liked bits of it, actually. I think that there was some fantastic moments in this game, but it wasn't what I wanted. I remember talking to my dad about it. I was like, I was just kind of like, I told him that. I was like, I don't know how to feel about it. Well, he's like, well, you felt something, right? And I was like, yeah, I did. And then I realized that it was kind of when I realized that, like, when you play a game, an experiential game like The Last of Us, it's not necessarily just to have fun. You're not there to like be like, that game is not, you don't play that game to have fun, really. You can play the roguelike mode and have fun with it, but you play that game to feel something, to feel an emotion, to feel a certain way, to engage with characters. Yeah. And it's,
I mean, if that's not what you want out of games, then that's totally fine. Like, you don't have
to. It's totally fine. Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's why the whole Nintendo brand is just like, if a game's not fun, then why bother? It's like, sure, that's a totally valid opinion as well, and it's a good thing that there's games for everyone at that point, right?
Yeah.
But
I came to an epiphany with it where it's just like, I guess games don't always have to be fun. Like, they can kind of like, it was a journey and it was an experience to learn to kind of love this game. I don't think I love it, but like, I don't hate it. And I think the game is like, it's a very strong like, because I do think that like there are some objective shortcomings. Like, I know you mentioned it in your video where you're like, the narrative structure had to be like that in order for it to tell its story. And I agree, but I also like, it's just, it also still sucks. Like, it hurts it. Yeah, it hurts it at the same time.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's literally just like, yeah, it did have to be like that in order to tell the exact kind of story that they were telling. But I also called that like a sacrificial lamb, which is not like a good, like it's they did tank the pacing for this cause.
Yeah.
And that's not just like a thing, because a lot of people, I had people in my comments mention like, oh well, it had to be like that. There's like this other video that I saw kind of at the end of me making mine, where it was like why The Last of Us 2's structure is, it can't be taken away from its medium or something like it's something like that. And it was just about how, oh, this is like a 5-act tragedy structure a la Shakespeare. This is totally normal. Here's the rising action and the climax and like the how it goes. It's not a typical 3-act structure. And I'm like, I understand all of that from a theoretical perspective. And especially, again, as somebody who enjoyed the game and thinks that it played out in a really interesting way and showed a different perspective. Like, yeah, it works to that effect. It also fucking sucks. Like it is not fun to wait 12 hours to get the answer to a scene that's cut directly in the middle. It's not the end of this. It's cut directly in the middle. And then you go and play as this person. You know what's, that's weird. Like, it makes sense for people to have a problem with that, even if they like the game.
Yeah, man.
It's a lot.
And it's part of why I actually stopped watching the season 2. It wasn't because I actually thought that the first couple episodes were pretty decent. I just was like, I'm not in the headspace for this right now. Like, I can't begin to care about these characters again. Right now. And eventually I'll get there. Eventually, I hope I can do a Last of Us video at some point. I don't really know what I want to do, but like, I would love to visit the world from that perspective. But yeah, Last of Us Part 2, big disappointment, but not necessarily. It's like a kid you resent, you know, a baby that like you're like, listen, I love you, but oh my god, I can't stand you.
Stop eating crayons, you fucking weirdo. Yeah, like that kind of kid. Yeah.
So
no, for sure.
Put an iPad in front of him and he'll...
You should make a video called The Last of Us is dumber than you think.
I should. Oh, dude, I should grift hardcore in that video. So, yeah.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, that's me. What's
a little bit out of... I would say my next one is... It's my collective one, and it's a little bit out of left field for me as well, because this isn't typically my wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to kind of rapid fire through these here, but it's I didn't have any other way to say it, but like out of place multiplayer shooters. There are certain shooters like, I feel like I've weirdly been more interested and mesmerized by the shooters that have failed, like before their release, obviously. I've been like, oh, that looks kind of cool, than the ones that have actually succeeded. Like, I couldn't give less of a shit about Overwatch, really. I've played a couple of games of Overwatch. It's fine. I like it. But, like,
same.
I was never excited about it, right?
Yeah.
But one game that I was excited about that was coming out around the same time as Overwatch was Battleborn. And that game was by Gearbox.
Yeah.
Who are obviously Borderlands. And... I was really struck with the art style. I think there was an element of it where it kind of reminded me of Ben 10, like the especially like the Alien Force Ultimate Alien times of Ben 10. There was like one specific character especially that really reminded me of him, and I was like, man, I think this might be a big thing. I think people might enjoy it. Again, multiplayer shooters are not in my wheelhouse. So if I think something's going to do well, it's probably not. Also, this was back in, 2015, 2016. So I was also not very knowledgeable on games back then. But, you know, like I said, direct competition with Overwatch. I think they were released a couple of weeks apart from one another. And Battleborn released first, but Overwatch was going to be cheaper, and it also had like a beta previously where people had gotten to play for free. It was Blizzard. I feel like people were more accustomed to Blizzard making big multiplayer titles, and also hadn't started resenting Blizzard at the time, versus Gearbox, who people liked Borderlands probably more than they like Borderlands now, but you know, they weren't proven. And also the marketing around this game was really weird. It was like, it's a MOBA, but it's also a shooter, but it's going to be full price and it's going to be on all these platforms, even though MOBAs at the time were typically associated with PC. It was just like a lot of things going on with that game. Everything I've seen it doesn't seem like it was like a terrible game. It also seems like a big part of what ruined it was the marketing and was the kind of the way that people didn't really understand what it was and the price tag and everything like that. And I think this is one of those ones where I didn't even play. Like I labeled this as a disappointment, but actually two of these shooters I didn't even play myself, and one of them I only played one match. But it was disappointing in the sense that like I was like, oh, I really think this is going to be the next thing, and then it was so underwhelming that I didn't even wind up getting it. Damn. So that's like a different level of disappointment, I guess. Yeah. But what were you gonna say?
I think Overwatch just kind of had like the pop culture appeal too.
Oh,
just like people were like they saw the character designs and were already putting that shit in Blender,
Yeah.
God bless.
Oh yeah. You talk about this every single you bring up some Gooner shit every episode. I appreciate you for that.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. I'm glad my talents are recognized.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Battleborn was one that I was absolutely wrong about. Another one that I was wrong about was a game that actually came from the studio that was either founded or co-founded by Cliff Bleszinski, who is the guy who did Unreal Tournament and Gears of War.
Oh,
so the first 3 Gears of War games.
Yeah. Okay.
His company put out a game called Lawbreakers. This was an arena shooter. It had a ton of cool movement abilities. It was very zero gravity, heavy emphasis on aerial movement. Honestly, looks like something that would be super well performing today. It kind of seems like if it had the right release strategy, it could have taken in that same spot as like Splitgate maybe, of this highly mobile shooter that was a little bit off the beaten path. It wasn't like, it wasn't a series that people were super familiar with, but it had this new fun thing to say and to do, and came from a well-known name. And the crazy thing about Lawbreakers is that it was, first of all, it was such a massive flop. Like, people don't even know about this game, really. And the few people that do, they were interested in it, and it actually reviewed fairly well. Multiplayer games, especially these kind of multiplayer games, they usually have like not the best reviews, but I think this one was getting close to an 80 on Metacritic, which is kind of uncharacteristic for this style of game. Overwatch notwithstanding. But
I cannot believe how much this looks like Overwatch.
In terms of its like visual style, I don't think it quite does. But
like the UI and like the health bars and the kind of like, yeah, it's a lot more like realistic looking than it's less cartoonish, but
to be clear, this also came out around the same time. I think it was actually in development before Overwatch. I think it came out after, but it was in development before. So it was another one of those things where Overwatch was just knocking shooters out left and right. There were other games as well that Overwatch, even not even in Overwatch's genre, that it just became such a big thing that it kind of threw aside a lot of things people were doing, even if it had a similar art style. But like I said, I think it had a chance to do well if it came out today. I think it had a chance to do well then as well. But I don't know. It was also cheaper than Overwatch. The failure of Lawbreakers is a little bit more confusing to me than Battleborn.
Really good.
People agreed it was good. It looks really cool. It was from a well-known name in the industry. I really don't know. I think it was maybe just the Overwatch effect. That might have been the only thing.
Yeah.
And then the last game from this list is probably the worst, at least from what I know of them. It's thought to be the worst, and it's also the only one of the 3 that I've played, and I only played one match. It's Hyperscape, which, if you remember, is the battle royale from Ubisoft that came out, I want to say 2020-ish, 2021. Like, it's not that old. This was a I don't even know why I was excited for this one, but I remember I think it was the fact that it was a battle royale, but there was a lot of like movement between interiors and exteriors, and it was really fast and it was really aerial. You would go on like the tops of buildings, then you would be inside the buildings and everything like that. I just liked the flow, the tempo, the world, how that was looking. But then I think part of what made this game fail was it was really hard to get into. Like I remember trying to play this game and trying to play it with friends, and then it wasn't on PlayStation. It wasn't on like I think you needed to log into the Ubisoft account thing in order to play it on PC. It might have been a Uplay exclusive or something like that. It was just not good. It was everything around it was. I can't confirm it. I think it was a Uplay exclusive, but it was just, it shot itself in the foot so hard, especially if you're trying to create a big global sensation of a multiplayer game. You can't hide it on a platform nobody fucking has.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Not only not putting it on PlayStation, but forcing people to get like the Ubisoft like launcher or you just signed a death contract. Like
yeah. Like, it's crazy that somebody like me who was genuinely excited and trying to find a way to play was struggling to find a way to play it. Like, if that's what a already interested consumer base is doing, you're not going to get casual people playing this. That's just not going to happen. Yeah. And then also from what I saw, it was somewhat bare bones. So it wasn't like I was missing out on the most, but a lot of these games start off kind of bare bones and they develop over time. I think it might have had a shot if they had done a better release strategy there. But yeah, those are my weird, again, this is not my wheelhouse. This is not the kind of game that I typically play. And it's so funny because, I saw Marvel Rivals and I was like, whatever. I saw Overwatch, I was like, whatever. I saw Valorant and I'm like, that's dog shit. And I was right about that one.
Valorant's not that bad.
Fuck Valorant, dude. I hate Valorant. All my friends play Valorant and they like get on. I'm like, oh no. Those are the worst times of my life for playing Valorant.
I only kind of like it because when I played it, I only played it one time. My brother, he got it on my PS5 and he was like, just play around. We're just like hanging out. And I was doing really good. He was like, holy shit, Landon. I was like, yeah, I'm just like that. And then I never played it again. He was like, we got to get you on our team. And I never played it again. That's the only reason why I like it is because I was good at it.
That makes sense. Yeah. I just can't fuck with any game. And I know that this is like a style of game, but I just don't like this style of game where holding shift did not make you sprint. It made you slow down. It's like, that is not my kind of, it just isn't. It's just not the kind of game that I like. I mean, from all these games,
is there a sprint in that game or
no? It's like not. Like you either walk fast or you walk really slow. Those are your two options. I mean, like it makes
if no
sense.
One can sprint, I think in a shooter, sure. I think that's fine.
It's fine. It's like a totally valid type of game. It's just like not my type of game at all.
Yeah. But I actually think some of the best first person shooters have no sprint button at all.
Okay. Doom 2016?
Case in point, Doom 2016. Yeah.
But that's because Doom 2016, you're always sprinting.
Right.
Like Valorant, you're just walking a little bit faster or you're walking slower. I just don't like the speed of that game.
A lot of it, honestly, has to do with field of view. Because Halo, for instance, like that game feels kind of slow, but you put your field of view up and it feels like you're like going like... You feel like actually you're Master Chief, like gliding through the fucking map, But yeah, I only know that based off of 2 FPS franchises, so I can't argue that for sure.
Yeah. You have any thoughts on any of these games?
Interesting choices. Battleborn, that was one my brother played, and that him and his friends they all tried getting into it, but that game it really didn't seem like it stuck at all. In fact, it didn't. It was also the same thing with Paragon too. That was also another game that
I remember that one too.
They wanted, and then Fortnite killed it. Like absolutely, Fortnite took it to the back like Old Yeller and just put that game down. Like it was bad. I haven't heard of the other 2 games, even Hyperscape, which I feel like I should have heard about that, but I just didn't for some reason. But yeah, it's just it's a shame. It's a big shame. All those games look Battleborn looks a little different, but they
They
look
do look the same.
exactly the same. It's
Yeah.
hysterical, and it just kind of goes to yeah, no, you definitely had a
It's
type.
failures.
You were
It's
poking
Overwatch
around.
clones that are failures.
Yeah, and it just kind of goes to show that like not everyone can have that. Is and it's interesting to see how these companies kind of shoot themselves in the foot with games like this, because it's like Fortnite was popular because it was everywhere and it was free and anyone could play it. And then Hyperscape was not popular because you had 5 things in your way.
Yep.
For people to like actually enjoy it and play it. And then the Overwatch effect too, just like people were already hooked. The second they saw Tracer, they were like, nope, this is the game. This is the one we're playing. And it's like,
yeah.
All right, that's fair. Those cutscenes are cool too. The like little intro.
Yeah, that was the thing.
The character things.
They just had like so much more of a prestigious quality, because even like the first time it was revealed, it was basically like a Pixar animated short.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, this is just cool to look at regardless.
Definitely. Even despite the shortcomings. Like I think I would have been really into Overwatch if it had a single player mode, honestly. I know that's not what that game was meant to be, but that's all I wanted from that game was a single player, because I did like it, and I tried getting into Overwatch, but it just wasn't for me. I'm just not.
Unfortunately, it's impossible. It was they came out and deemed it impossible. They were like, we've worked on this for 5 years and it's impossible. It's simply impossible to make a single player shooter campaign. That's what they legit came out and said. It's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I don't understand. Tragic.
Moving on.
All right. Well, we already know what your last one is here. Then.
Yeah. It's Fallout 76, but it's not just Fallout 76. In fact, it's Fallout as a franchise.
You're a big fan of Fallout 1 then, and then you were disappointed with everything after that.
Everything after that was complete abysmal dog shit.
I saw footage of Fallout 1 for the first time the other day, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's awesome. That game is awesome. It is so
Have you actually played it?
Yeah, I've beat Fallout 1 and 2. Fallout 2 looks exactly the same.
Damn.
Yeah. Those games confused the shit out of me, dude. I could not play it for the life of me when I was younger. And then one day, it's one of those games that just clicks. You're just like, oh, I get it. And then like you're really into it. And in fact, Fallout 2 is, I think, the second best Fallout game. But that's me. So okay, little precursor. I feel like I may have discussed this on the podcast before, but Fallout 4 E3 presentation was the greatest thing I have ever seen, ever, up until that point. I didn't like Fallout that much. I kind of tangentially liked it. But being woken up in the middle of the night and just sat down and forced to watch this presentation, I was absolutely mesmerized by it. I mentioned God Howard, how he was like so cool. He had the Riz. He was like, everything just works. And I was like, that's the guy. That's the man right there. He's awesome. So Asad died. His ghost is here though. You can hear his apparition is just kind of like haunting the mic. So we're in contact with him. But once I end this stream, he will be lost in limbo forever. So this is enjoy him while he lasts.
Yeah. You started talking about RPGs, and I was like, again? We're still talking about this shit.
Fallout 1, and you just couldn't handle peak.
I heard your Fallout 4. Yeah, I heard your Fallout 4 E3 presentation story for the 9th time, and I was like, I'm out of here, dude. No, finish your story. No, that's where I was.
Fallout 4 E3 presentation it was the thing that made me fall in love with the games industry, and that I was like obsessed with it. I needed to know more at every nook and cranny. I needed to know more, and so I was like religiously following every cycle of coverage. The game in general was really hyped. The energy around Fallout 4 was unparalleled, and upon release, I was obsessed with it. I loved every bit of it. I did everything in that game that I could get my hands on, but over the years, I was kind of like, this wasn't the game I was, kind of thinking it was. It wasn't doing the things that it was saying it was going to do. And I was like starting to see like the cracks in the game. And then I was like, oh wait, this story's dog shit. Wait, why did I like this? What's going on here? But I still couldn't help but like love it. I have over 1,000 hours in Fallout 4, and it's just like I couldn't help but sink hours and hours and hours and hours and hours into it. And every bit of like support that the game was getting also was very disappointing in a sense. The DLC, fine for the most part. I didn't have access to it initially, so it took a while for me to actually play it. And when I actually got it, I was like, this kind of stinks. Aside from Far Harbor is peak Fallout. I'll stand by that. But like, yeah, even Nuka World stinks. It just didn't become. It wasn't what I wanted it to become. And then I was watching like lore videos about it, and I was seeing how like Fallout 4 is like crazy lore contradictions. The portrayal of the art style, the disappearance of choice and consequence within the series. Just kind of like I was getting a lot of like there's a lot of Fallout purists out there that are like everything Bethesda touches is dog shit, and everything that Obsidian / Black Isle makes is gold. And I'm not of that opinion, but I was really like hardcore, kind of like I'll accept the opinion of any YouTuber that tells me what is right and what is wrong, and that's kind of where I was with it. But I still I couldn't help but love it. When they introduced mods, but shitty mods for PS4, I was like, whatever, I'll take it. I'll take the shitty mods for PS4. At least I got mods,
Was when Fallout 4 or Skyrim, or which one was it? The one that they took away the mod store and then they turned it into like you had to pay like a subscription service or something? I don't know what that was.
So the mod store was in both. They added console mods. And they're still in there. They're in fact, I think that's one of the best things Bethesda has ever done for their games was adding console mods, because the modding scene is so vibrant for their games. It just really sucked that PlayStation couldn't. They didn't allow them to do a lot of things with it. So the mods on Xbox were crazy. There's like new hairstyles, new audio recordings, new quests that you could like implement into the game. But PlayStation was very bare bones. It was like, now you can just play around with like the in-game stuff, and that's it. No external assets at all. Nothing, like you can't fuck with a lot of things. And then they introduced the paid mods. They didn't get rid of the old mods. There was the Creation Club, which they said was just like, these are just mini DLCs. They're not mods, but they were mods. In fact, they got mod authors, like people from the Nexus that were like really established in the modding community, and just had them make like paid DLC for these games, for both Fallout 4 and Skyrim. And I think it's kind of cool, honestly. As a PS4 player that couldn't get the paid mods, I was like, that couldn't get like the nice cool mods on Xbox or PC. I was like, whatever, man. I'll take what I can get. Sure, give me a donut shop. I'll make my own donut shop in my freaking lighthouse settlement, And so I was fine with that. Fallout 4 is a love-hate relationship. I love that game to death, but it's a lot of shortcomings, and I'm really generally disappointed by that game. But I don't necessarily blame myself for getting overhyped by it. I was a kid, and a lot of people around the time, and the consensus is that Fallout 4 is generally kind of disappointing, but it's still fun. It's still a very fun game. And then a couple years later, they do the Fallout 76 teaser, and I was like, we're back, baby. We're so fucking back. We are so back. Look at this. Look at the cool boy.
That's so crazy to associate with Fallout 76. I know. Is you being like, we're back, baby.
It was the teaser trailer. They had Country Roads Take Me Home, John Denver.
I think that was Fallout 4.
No, that was 76. Fallout 4 was It's All Over But the Crying, but the ink spots. Really sad, somber song. And then this one, they're like, West Virginia.
Why? How? I didn't realize that I mixed those.
Someone obviously doesn't know Fallout.
Somebody didn't watch the Fallout 4 E3 presentation 94 times.
Have you seen the presentation?
I have.
But I could have wonderful, isn't it?
It's good, but I'm surprised that I could have sworn that was for Fallout. Whatever.
No,
I'm not going to contend you on that, I guess. I think that would be dangerous.
And so the teaser trailer was really cool. They showed off a lot of great landscapes. It was pretty sick. And the E3 presentation it sold me. I was like, I understand this is multiplayer. That's not what I want. But what you're showing me, Todd Howard, I'm picking it up. And what is this you're showing me? Elder Scrolls 6? Okay, Todd Howard. Yeah, you're a good guy. I believe you. What is this you're showing me? Starfield? Is this a new thing that you're going to show me? 16 times the detail? Then I played the beta. And I bought the $80 Tricentennial Edition. And
Tricentennial Edition? Ooh, that sounds kind of fancy.
It was pretty fancy. I just got red, white, and blue skins for like guns and clothes. And it was not worth the extra $20 that I got from it. And it was pure shit. It didn't work. It was broken. I hated the art style. I hated how things played. I love the world, actually. The world is really great. No NPCs. It's just everything that you could possibly imagine about Fallout 76. I hated, didn't like. I forced myself to like. I gaslit myself into liking. Until eventually I was like, no. They introduced a subscription service. I was like, no. I'm done. I'm done. Yeah. And now, today, and I know they fixed it. I've tried going back to it a couple of times. I still don't like it. I still, just purely from a gameplay front, I don't like how it plays. It's just like it's like a handicapped Fallout 4. I don't like, I'm gonna cry right now, bro. I don't like it. I just can't.
It's a little intense.
And today, Fallout as an IP it's very mismanaged. It's very sad, and I'm just kind of done with it. You know, the show's good. I like the show, and I'm excited to see what they do with the show. But honestly, Fallout's kind of at like a point right now where I'm at with Halo, where it's just like, no, it's done. Like anything that happens from here on out, I don't think will ever capture the spirit of what they've done before. So I don't think there's a point in trying. I would love to be proven wrong. I would love a new Fallout. I would love Fallout remasters, but the fact that they just haven't done anything in that regard is just really sad. And it's just, I can't believe how poorly managed Fallout as an IP is. So that's my last major disappointment. And it's just where the Fallout series is in general. Fallout 1, 2, 3, New Vegas, some of my favorite games of all time. Fallout 4 is in there too, but there's a stink. From Fallout 4 and then on, it's just been shit after shit after shit. So yeah, minus Far Harbor. Love you, Far Harbor. But
I think if Fallout 3/New Vegas had come out at the time that Fallout 4 did, again, it's one of those things like Deus Ex where if that had been the case, I think I would have become a pretty big Fallout fan. You know, I tried to play Fallout 4 a bunch of times, and I just couldn't get into it because I didn't have any previous experience with the series. It was kind of the thing that was my jumping on point. And I was playing through it, and I was like, it's not hooking me. And, you know, I didn't feel like my dialogue options were doing anything.
No.
Turns out because they weren't.
Yeah, no. But it was do you want to be a nice guy? Do you want to be a mean guy but still say yes? Or do you want to be sarcastic? Or do you want to ask him a question?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It was silly, and I never really got that deep into it. And yeah, the previous games, it was that thing of every time I think about the previous games, and I'm like, I should play those. My experiences with Fallout 4 come to mind, and I'm like, it just wasn't anything to me. It wasn't something that I really hated. It wasn't something that I really loved. It was just whatever. And I think that is partially stopping me from going back the same way that air of Deus Ex Mankind Divided of like, it wasn't terrible, but it's the only thing that comes to mind when I think of that series. It's kind of stopping me from that. So it is disappointing how it's turned out and how we've now gone well over a decade without what most people would consider a truly great Fallout game.
Yep.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it sucks. And even just seeing kind of like how Bethesda is. The next big thing that they did after that was Starfield, which I gave a good old college try and I didn't like. But I feel like there's something there. I'm like, I just wasn't in the right headspace for Starfield. I just wasn't vibing with it. A lot of the things that I liked about Bethesda games wasn't in there. Where like I couldn't just pick a direction and walk and find like 15 million things to do. It was like, no, I got to go through like UI screen to UI screen to UI screen to find a planet, and its planet has nothing, and it's just like I don't know what I'm doing here. But seeing that and like just kind of how like Starfield in general has been treated, and how they treated that game, especially with the DLC, which apparently sucks balls like Mondo penis. I'm not excited for Elder Scrolls 6 because of that reason. I'm most certainly not excited for Fallout 5 because of that reason. It's just like I think Bethesda at this point is kind of washed. And I say that as a person who loves their games, and I don't hate Starfield. I just mean that like Skyrim's never going to happen again. Skyrim's going to happen with a completely different team and a completely different studio. And in fact, it has, because Baldur's Gate 3 is out, because fucking oh my god. Oh, I'm totally blanking on Avowed. How about that? Avowed usurped Skyrim's throne.
What? What? I'm so lost where that line of thinking was even going.
I know. You see how red I am right now? I'm teething with anger about Bethesda right now. It's really unfortunate. But yeah, that's the last major disappointment I've had with games in the gaming industry. So I'll hand it back off to you.
To my ghost. Yeah, let me see if I can bring myself back to life here. All right, my last one, Landon. This is another one that I just don't think you're going to be able to guess. But it is
Forspoken.
No. No, unfortunately. It'll be the next game that Amy Hennig is part of, because if that one's bad, I will actually be disappointed. She wasn't a big part of Forspoken, to be fair. Anyways.
I didn't know she was. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think her and Gary Whitta were part of it. Yeah. Anyways. This one it released in 2017, and it's from the studio that made a very successful, or not very successful, at points successful, GTA clone.
First thought was Saints Row, but nothing came out in 2017, right? It did?
Yes, it did. Not for Saints Row, but it's from that development team. Oh, so you don't even know about this.
Oh, wait. Was it that like multiplayer? The like Saints Row multiplayer game?
No, it wasn't or do you mean like the co-op one? I think it didn't have co-op. That was the problem. Or one of the problems.
So it's Saints Row?
No.
Watch Dogs?
No, that's not the same team.
It's not this. What else has Volition made other than Saints Row?
It's called Agents of Mayhem. You heard of this?
Yeah, that was the Saints Row multiplayer game.
Well, it's not multiplayer. It was like a campaign-based thing. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It just looks like, again, like Overwatch, which is why you thought. I'm telling you, I have a type.
Oh man. Oh, you're such an easy mark. Johnny Gat is in it. I know.
But it's not as. That's the thing. Okay, so yeah. You actually point to a couple things that made it so confusing. Yeah. So this was at a point in time when Saints Row, Saints Row obviously started a little bit more serious, a little bit more gangster, and then it turned into that weird superhero off the wall, like. And there were still fans of that version of Saints Row.
That's my Saints Row, dude. Saints Row 3 and 4. Oh, yeah, fucking awesome.
But there were definitely people who didn't like the direction it was going. So Agents of Mayhem kind of turned into this thing where they embraced the absurdity to the point where they just made something weird and cartoonish and with a new name. And they were like, this is going to be our weird wonky shit. And then presumably the plan was to bring Saints Row maybe more back to its roots. Obviously, what ended up happening was Agents of Mayhem came out, and it mega flopped to the point where Landon Hansen thought it was a multiplayer game. You know, they didn't even... he thought it was Saints Row, and he thought it was a multiplayer game. It was neither of those things, which really shows what the marketing was doing.
Yeah.
And then I guess their response to that was, well, that didn't work, so let's not continue with that grounded Saints Row idea and instead make a shitty version of the crazy... It's like a weird middle ground between what they've done with Saints Row, and it just, you know, everyone knows where that went. And I'm pretty sure Volition's shut down. Is that correct?
Yeah, after Saints Row, the latest Saints Row, they shut down.
Yeah, so I don't know. The Agents of Mayhem was... it was this more cartoony take on this sort of style of gameplay. It had hero shooter elements. I think that's why people also thought it was multiplayer, but it was like hero shooters within a campaign, sort of. So it's kind of what Overwatch said it was trying to make in a weird way for Overwatch 2. And interesting fact about this. So I actually had a different YouTube channel when I was in high school. It was the one that I told you where I was making videos every single day on that one.
Yeah.
And I made a video on Agents of Mayhem before it came out. And I was like, this game looks really cool. I'm really excited for this. And that video was the only video on that channel to quote unquote blow up. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Now, keep in mind, at the time, to me, blowing up was hitting 4,000 views, which is what that video did. So I really thought it went more viral than it really
impressive.
was. It is for like at the time. I think I had like 12 subscribers or something. So I was like, oh, let's go, pop off. But I had this misunderstanding of how much excitement was around the game, because I was like, well, if people are watching my video on Agents of Mayhem, it must be getting some attention. Meanwhile, it's 4,000 people. Like people were not interested in it, or at least were, you know, I had a bit of a false equivalency there. And it came out, and I actually played it, and it was kind of generic. It wasn't even that bad. There were some elements to it, like the driving in that game is a little bit on rails at points, but it was kind of fun. The shooting wasn't bad. The hero stuff, like I liked that element of it. Had kind of like a crackdown energy to it. And I think it kind of, what it was trying to do sort of backfired. Because what I think the intention was is, like I said, you remove the absurdity from Saints Row and put it into this new thing. But now this thing, its main audience that it was being marketed to was the original was the Saints Row audience. And to them, this was kind of a perfect encapsulation of everything they didn't like about what Saints Row became. And on top of that, it had this cartoonish wrapping over it, which isn't really seen in AAA games all that much. And it was one of the things that I really liked about this game, that I was like, oh, Volition, people who made Saints Row, who made these realistic games, are going into this like Saturday morning cartoon vibe. That's kind of cool to me. You don't see a lot of studios doing that. And but I think, yeah, people saw it as more childish, or they saw it as like the weird absurdist version of Saints Row put in this corner and this biohazard bin over here. So we're like, we're not going to touch that. It was also a little bit buggy when it came out. Yeah, it's gained one of those weird reputations on the internet. It's very similar to We Happy Few, where the game's not good by all metrics, or at least it wasn't a knockout success. It probably had like some good elements, some bad elements, and people are infinitely more interested in hearing about it and why it potentially failed than they have any interest in even checking out the game itself. Like We Happy Few and Agents of Mayhem both have like weirdly high view counts for videos about like, why did this thing fail, and do you remember this game? People are kind of interested in it from afar in that way, but they aren't interested in it enough to, one, properly hate on it, or two, actually try it out. So it's got I don't know if there's a word for that kind of game, but I've seen it before, and it's like, huh, that's interesting.
Irrelevancy?
No, but it's not even fully irrelevancy because people have like a weird fixation on it.
Yeah, that's fair.
It has a broad interest base for people who are willing to put in the least amount of effort into hearing about it. It's such a specific.
It's like a perfect storm of people that just, like
it's doing just enough for people to actually give enough of a shit about it to get through the door and then go nowhere past that. Just like kind of stand there and watch the rest of the room go by, Yeah, this one's a bit of a weird one. I remember it also hit around that same time, like a few years after my big Deus Ex fiasco, my failure to predict which of the two of Battleborn or Overwatch, or of the three actually, Battleborn, Overwatch, or Lawbreakers was going to do well. I was like, there's no way Overwatch does better than these. And then my third one's The Charm. I was like, Agents of Mayhem. This is going to be a fantastic one. And I think I must have learned my lesson because I don't really have that many games that I'm super disappointed in since. A lot of the games are from this era. I think it was just a time that I also didn't understand myself and what I liked about games. So that definitely has something to do with it. But yeah, a bit of a weird one, a bit of an interesting one to look back on.
What a disappointing era. Like, the PS4 generation, fantastic, don't get me wrong, but just like this like microcosm of like multiplayer games that looked really cool, that had like a special bread and butter to them, and then just a total fart in the fucking wind, either in terms of how it was supported, how people treated it, or just in how it was like marketed. It just it's tragic. Like, I had one of those games with Battlefront. You had like 4 of those games, basically. Even though Agents of Mayhem's not multiplayer, but it's still kind of like, what are you doing? Like what? How? I don't understand, as like a publisher, like how you kind of get behind that,
But then you say that, but the thing is that now people are like, well, why aren't people trying weird different things that maybe aren't hyper focused on getting the exact amount of optimization they can? Because I think, in my opinion, this era of games is what has now birthed what I would call the over focused grouped era of games, where everything has to be like this exact formula to getting it to work. And also it's taking a lot longer. So people who are working on a formula that worked in 2020 are releasing their games in 2025. And it's like, how did this fail? And it's like, well, you are 5 years behind on what you were focus grouping. But yeah, I think this kind of was that turning point where people were still trying to be a little bit, I don't think you could ever pitch an Agents of Mayhem type game for a studio like Volition now.
Oh, definitely.
And honestly,
no.
like, and you could say it's been justified by the fact that it did poorly, and then they tried to somewhat salvage it with Saints Row, and then they just fell apart. Like, they don't exist anymore. So yeah, definitely a strange era for sure.
No,
you're right.
Yeah, for sure. My only memory of this game was I had a friend that was really into Saints Row. That was like, he was gaslighting himself into liking this game. And he was we were in the party chats and we were like, this game looks like shit, bro. And he was like, no, guys, it's really good. You got to try it. It's actually not, listen, I'll be real. There's a few hiccups, but it's not that bad. And we were just like, nah, bro, let's play Rainbow Six Siege instead. And play it, yeah. So, tragic.
Yeah, I don't know. It was fine.
Yeah, I don't think it entirely fine.
Yeah, I don't think it was a complete benign failure by all metrics, but yeah, I do have some honorable mentions. I know you don't really have any. I guess you threw one in there for
Halo Infinite. Yeah,
Infinite. But I have a couple.
Okay.
I actually have 5, which is ridiculous.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. First one is Homefront: The Revolution. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah.
Homefront was a weird franchise. There's a lot of lore behind this, but it was kind of like Homefront it looked like COD campaigns for people who hated COD. Mm-hmm. They were like, well, I don't want to play Call of Duty because Call of Duty is for losers. And then it was like, hey, what if the exact same thing that's in COD campaigns was somewhere else, and also North Korea for some reason?
Yeah.
Um, like it's like, oh yeah, I'd love that. And all like the first game did not do super well. The second game did even worse. It was shorter. It was both of them had like tumultuous production cycles. Uh, like I said, yeah, that's the idea is that North Korea takes over the U.S., which at the time when I was younger, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And now I think about it, I'm like, what a stupid premise. What a
Yeah,
dumb.
no,
That's like, it was essentially Resistance 3 if
the
like all the
Chimera were
interesting,
Asian
yeah,
people.
like all the interesting like alien part of Resistance 3 was turned into like the most fear mongering weird version of it.
I a part of me wants to say that like because China makes more sense if you were to like realistically do like a country takeover situation. China would be the one to do it, but I feel like they're probably like we can't do
Or
that.
Russia. But
Or
you
Russia,
can do
yeah.
Russia. I think it was just they were trying to be subversive with it, and they're
Right.
like, "Oh,
North
a
Korea,
dictator regime and stuff." And it's like, yeah, but North Korea has like 4 people, man. Like they're not taking
Yeah.
over the U.S.
Two of them are fake.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I can see that. I wasn't really interested, but I kind of loosely saw stuff about it, and I was like, meh.
Yeah, sort of the same era where I was learning about games, and I was just like on a whim catching these trailers, and I think there was a part of me that wanted to see the underdog win. I wanted to not necessarily get the Call of Duties or like the big games. I was like, I want to see the hidden stuff, and I think that's probably what leaned me towards indie games at a certain point, where I was like, oh, that's where like the hidden stuff is, and it's not just hidden because it was dog ass. Like,
Yeah.
most AAA games that have severely underperformed have usually underperformed for a legitimate reason. So probably where that came in. Another one I had on here, Ghost Runner 2, even though it's not bad. Ghost Runner 2 is actually a game that I started playing again. I started replaying. I saw it on my
Nice.
PlayStation. And I was like, you know what? I'll throw that on again. But it was just one of those cases of, oh my God, the first one was so tight. It was so well done. I've replayed it like 40 times. It's so good. And then the second one, it had more content. It gave you like a motorcycle. It expanded on your abilities. It did like in every aspect. It improved and made things better, and it was worse off for it. So I was like, this is not the same tight, well adjusted experience. It just doesn't feel as good to play, and it feels like its attention is spread out too thin. But again, Ghost Runner 2 is not a bad game. It was just one that I was pretty excited for, and then, significantly prefer the first one. Hyperlight Breaker, this is one that I also haven't played, and is still in early access. Like, maybe it'll get better, but just disappointing to know that I love Hyperlight Drifter. I love Solar Ash also, which was the second game that they made that isn't in that same universe, but it's also 3D, and I was like, you know what? I like both of these things. I also like roguelikes. I like their art style. I had high hopes for Hyperlight Breaker, and it's been disappointing to see the reaction to it and how busted it seems to be. And I think that they've been making some strides to improve it, but yeah, definitely a little sad.
Yeah, it stinks.
Remnant 2. A lot of people really like Remnant 2. I love Remnant from the Ashes, and it was a game that my brother and I played together. Remnant 2, I've always said, just maybe hit me at the wrong time and hit me with some bad RNG because I played it with my roommate and my brother. And maybe we picked the wrong difficulty, but then it was hard to change the difficulties. And we were at the worst biome and the worst bosses to start with. And it just felt like we were hitting things and they were all bullet sponges, and it was, balanced poorly. And I didn't understand it. It was one of those things where, I've played really difficult games before. I've also played really difficult multiplayer games before. And I played the first game in this series with my brother. But for whatever reason, this one just felt like the worst version of hyper-tuning health and just projectiles being thrown everywhere, especially for when it was balanced for 3 people. It was like you couldn't even see what was happening on screen for some of these bosses. And I have maintained that I think it was the specific biomes that I went into first, because it's kind of randomized where you go to first. But yeah, that was a big disappointment for me, where I was just like, man, I was really excited for that one. And then the last one on here, is Shadow of War,
which
is very similar to Ghost Runner 2, where in a lot of ways you could say, man, this is such a big improvement in every single metric, and it just was not as tight or as fun as the original. And obviously it had like the microtransactions,
I forgot about that.
controversy, and people have talked about the Nemesis system is like way cooler in that one, and like it's the open world is bigger, but I also felt like the open world was emptier. And yeah, I just felt like it was a great, really fun insular experience in Shadow of Mordor. And then Shadow of War came out, and I was like, I just can't be bothered. I don't care about this. It felt like outdated, weirdly, even though it was not that far after Shadow of Mordor and better in most respects.
That's so interesting. I remember, I'm a big fan of these games. I've never beat either of them, but I never like felt any which way about Shadow of War at all. Like, I just kind of was like, oh, cool. And then just played more of it, but it still never beat it, And I actually really, really like those games.
I think part of it was also Shadow of Mordor was one of the first games that I platinumed. I remember I platinumed Arkham Knight and Shadow of Mordor around the same time. They're both kind of similar games.
They're pretty similar, yeah.
They came out around the same time. And for whatever reason, I was just playing both of them. I really liked their gameplay loop, and I was like, you know what, I'll get the platinums for these. And then, playing through the second game in this one, I was just like, I couldn't even be bothered to like get past the first act, I feel like. And I've gone back to it, and I just still had no interest in it.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for our biggest gaming disappointments we have ever experienced. Stay tuned for our biggest life disappointments, which will be a 3-hour podcast.
Yes,
so.
and it'll be about starting this podcast, actually. The biggest disappointment in my life.
I don't know why you would joke about that, dude. That just wasn't funny.
Damn.
No, I mean...
You seemed like genuinely so serious.
I am serious, dude.
Damn.
What's funny?
Fuck you, man. I can't joke around with a brick wall. I was like, where's that? I was drowning there.
Yeah, you were. That's my acting skills. That's my acting chops right there. Yeah. So yeah, that does it. Let us know your most disappointing gaming experiences or releases that you've ever felt, because boy, did we not even scratch the surface. I felt like we got like a good broad range.
We got
that a majority of it came from the same era too. It was all like PS4 semi multiplayer.
I think we've learned our lesson missteps. Potentially.
Definitely.
It was because we're a couple years apart here, but that was for both of us around the same time, like the same amount of years that we were both discovering what we liked and what we didn't like.
Yeah.
And then cemented it after the fact. So
definitely.
Yeah. Now we got to get into what we've both been playing. And there's one specific game that you've been talking about that you haven't told me too much about it, but I've just been excited to hear. I've been waiting to get on this podcast and talk to you about it. So talk to me about Doom 2016.
Yes. Tying back to Fallout 4 E3 presentation.
Jesus Christ.
Before they showed Fallout 4, it was a Bethesda conference, and so they showed a bunch of games, and one of the games that they unveiled for the first time was Doom 2016 in that very same showcase.
Yes.
And I remember watching that trailer and being like, that's fucking sick. That is dope. That is raunchy as fuck. That's amazing. Like, how he's just like fucking bending his bones and like smashing them into the faces, and he's just like it was like pure high octane kind of like junk food stuff. And that's, at the time I was like, that's cool. Not really, whatever, years later though, like years and years later. In fact, Doom kind of scared me when I was a kid. Doom 3 in particular, which actually is a horror game,
right,
was the only Doom game I had familiarity with, and so I was kind of like a little leery of Doom as a franchise, because I was like, oh, I'm a little piss baby. I'm just gonna cry and shit my pants.
Jesus.
It's not the experience I had at all with Doom 2016, dude. This game is like, it's just a wonderful video game.
Yeah.
Like all throughout, it's just everything is like very intuitive. I think the only thing that really kind of sucks is trying to find, and this only sucks if you are like trying to do everything and like get the collectibles, is like the map's really bad, and like it kind of doesn't really tell you like where things are. Or,
Oh
like, how
yeah,
to
like the
find them.
holo map. Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of overtune that in the games that come after. I've never liked the way that the map looks, but in the later games I had gotten adjusted to it, and they're just like way too obvious with stuff. It's like, hey, by the way, big red arrow, the secret's over here. It's a big secret. Don't tell anybody I told you, but it's right over there. Like, yeah.
That's so funny, dude. I like it. I liked naturally finding the secrets though. I kind of was at a point where like in the beginning I was like, no, I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna be so powerful by the end of it. But like I was like, whatever. If I come across it, I'll come across it, and that's fine. I was totally fine with that. I couldn't help but have just such a wonderful time with this game. Headphones on, mouse and keyboard, just mindlessly droning out to what is possibly like some of the best sound design I've ever heard in a video game. Period, dude. The music by itself is just it's a work of art. Mick Gordon's, he's really one of a kind. In fact, the music is what I listened to before I ever played the game. I would just listen to the Doom soundtrack by itself, and so like to get the context of it in game is really great. And I love the glory kills too. How it doesn't sync with the music, but it fits. You know.
Yeah.
You go up, you run, and then like a really awesome sound effect. The enemy designs have awesome sound effects. The flaming skull heads that like come at you, they like scream. They have like a guttural scream that's like kind of horrifying. I'm like, oh my god, that's a little crazy. And just
I think it's also one of the first ones to do, maybe not the first ones, but the ones that I remember a big thing about it being like the adaptability of the music, where it changed based on like what you were doing in combat. And I think Eternal does it even more. That's where awesome. It's really, really dynamic in the way that it plays out. But yeah, it feels like super well composed, but not repetitive. And it has highs and lows based on the highs and lows of how the combat is going, which is really cool.
Definitely. And it's to his benefit, it's really frustrating too when like you're in the middle of like a spree, you're like kill after kill after kill, and then an enemy's like pretty far away, and you're like, damn it, like I like kind of ruined the mojo here, you know? There's almost like an element of like you kind of want to hit the enemies and kill them at a certain pace for like the most satisfaction. And
it's a borderline rhythm game to the point that like people literally made basically
beats
Doom
per minute,
a rhythm game,
bullets per minute, and
also Metal Hellsinger, which is really great. Both of them are really fun. Metal Hellsinger feels a little bit more fleshed out, but yeah, like there's definitely a tempo to the way that you want to move, and it almost feels wrong when you're not hitting things to that tempo, or you're walking in the middle of combat. Like that just feels incorrect.
No, it totally does. I gotta try those games out. Those sound like a ton of fun. One thing that I really, really loved about this game though was it just the incentive to get you in the headspace of a maniac, where it's like, oh, I'm low health, my shields are gone, I need to kill more. I need to kill more. I need to rip this person's head off. I need to get a little bit more shield back. I need to, rip them apart with a chainsaw to get more ammo. Like just it completely rationalizes you being a fucking serial killer. Like, and the levels of violence in this game aren't even to the point where it's just like, that's just horrible. It's so fucking comical.
It's so cartoonish. Yeah,
it's so cartoonish. My cat just walked on my desk. She might knock shit over. I'll think, thank you. You're just so nice and gentle. And it's just it really is kind of like a zone out and just experience and just rip and tear kind of game. And I love it for that. And I can't believe it took me this long to play it. And I'm really excited to get to the other Doom games. I think I'm gonna do Doom: The Dark Ages next. I have it on the PC, so we'll see. I don't think I'm gonna get to it right away. And then I really want to play Eternal. I think Eternal, I'm gonna have like I'm really excited for that game. it's already out, but I feel like a hype for it right now.
It's interesting. So we've talked about this, and I'm still unsure if I feel like you should play Eternal first or Dark Ages first, because Dark Ages is kind of a more grounded version, and I feel like if you play Eternal, it'll like going to Dark Ages feels like grounding yourself in a way that, as somebody who's a massive fan of Eternal, it felt like in some ways a step back. That said, Eternal is a true, genuine cartoon. If you think that Doom 2016 is cartoonish, like the lengths they go to in Eternal is hilarious. Honestly, like at one, like you can shoot. So like the basic combat chess of that game, right? Where like every single enemy has kind of different weaknesses, and you can like change to different weapons or different ults and stuff like that, and it'll be really good in certain situations. There's ones where you can like you change to a sticky bomb for the caca demons and shoot it in their mouths, and then they swallow it, they go whoop, and then they explode. It's like, what the hell?
That's awesome.
It's so funny. Like the armor and everything makes like these goofy ass arcade noises. Like I'm playing it up a little bit, but it's definitely.
I've heard it is very arcadey in comparison.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
Which the vibe in 2016, I love it. It's so like just like guttural and like bloody and just there's a tinge of horror to it, and so to and also like I was kind of as someone who's like not very familiar with the franchise, when I saw that they were doing the Dark Ages, I was like, that's cool. How are they possibly going to fit medieval into this game at all? And then I was like in hell in 2016, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that makes like total sense. Okay.
Yeah. It's funny, like aesthetically, I would say that Dark Ages is a little bit more in line with 2016, and it that dragon meme where one of them like looks goofy as shit.
Yeah.
Not in terms of how good or bad they are, but that's kind of what Eternal is in terms of the aesthetics. Whereas like it's the same, but it's a little silly and weird.
Yeah.
But also so fun, and Eternal's my favorite of the bunch. But 2016 is really, really great. I think one thing about it is that it can be exploited really easily. You can use the same weapons. There's no incentives to like really weapon swap, and you can just spam the friggin' rocket launcher the entire time.
Yeah, I definitely. I loved the super shotgun, dude. That thing was like my best. That was my best friend in the whole world, and I was playing it.
I mean, you're gonna love in Eternal when it gets a grapple hook. I'll tell you that much. When that super shotgun gets a grapple hook, and then it's on fire as well, and the fire, and the fire gives you armor. So it's so like cool. Actually like a tactic. It's so sick, dude.
That is just the epitome of like hell yeah. Like,
it's just... And this is the thing. Like this, I've always said that id Software makes like the best designed junk food in the industry, and I think that they deserve so much more credit for how good they are. As like they have been in some way at the cutting edge of design for like 30 years, more than 30 years, I think. Yeah. When was the original Doom? Was it 94? Was it
95 is what I want to say, but we can, you know what? Let's look it up. 1993.
Okay, 93.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been doing it for
God.
They've been doing it for over 30 years. It's just so impressive. They've always been at the cutting edge of it, and even with Dark Ages, even if it's not completely blowing away the industry in terms of, how transformative it is, it still has that same level of just like, I can't believe you designed something this well. I can't believe the levels feel this way. I can't believe the combat feels this way. I can't believe the light hits off of these things. The background looks like this. The energy is the look of all the demons has been changed to fit. Like, it's just so cool. It's so well made. So yeah, I'm really excited for you to play the other ones.
Yeah. No,
You've too. Also... There's one other game on this list that seems like you want to get off your chest a little bit.
Yeah, no, I finished Clair Obscur finally.
Let's go.
Although, I wrote that in like what 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think you finished it like right after we recorded like our last podcast.
It was immediately after, and it was great. It does a lot of things in a very bold way, and it is. We'll see with time, but I genuinely think this is like one of my favorite games ever made at this point. Like, I just think what it does, how it plays, the story behind it, not even like the narrative, like the story behind the team and like what they were able to do. Just it's like a perfect concoction of like what I want out of a game. And while there's some things that like I think that could have been done better, the fact that this was like their first attempt, it just goes to it's really something special. And
it really is.
I have a video coming out about it that is in fact hopefully I don't know if it's gonna be out by the time this is out, but
it'll be around the same time. Yeah,
it will be around the same time. So
if you're coming in from that video, hey, apparently Landon's racist. He's proven it throughout the entire
dude,
episode.
I totally killed the audience there, didn't I? Wow. I don't really know. Like, it's so hard to like capture what about this game really made it tick. And I know I'm making a whole video about it, so it's kind of like that whole splurge is going to be on my main channel, and hopefully you'll hear about it here soon. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm still kind of loosely playing it too. Like, I'm doing like side content here and there.
Yeah, I want to go back and do some of the side content. I mentioned this in the last podcast. I just wish they would have had a Metroidvania style thing where I could mark the things that I need to go back to.
Definitely.
Really disappointed that that's not a thing.
It also kind of like doesn't.
Yeah.
In Act 3, it doesn't tell you like what you should do first, and it's kind of hard to gauge it because things are so fucking powerful in Act 3 that it's like I don't even know where to begin because I'm like so underleveled in comparison to everything else here. But yeah, that's it for Clair Obscur. And then I also am still playing Night Rain here and there. They've done the thing where like every week they add like a special souped up version of one of the bosses. And so me and my friends killed we fought the Gaping Jaw together.
Yes, we did,
a crazier version of that. That was really tough. So we got that guy. And then they added another guy that we killed that was a little easier than the gaping maw. So still enjoying it. Just a lot of like, man, I wish they'd do this with that game. There's just a lot. Every time I'm playing that game, I'm like, man, I wish they'd do this. Man, I wish they would change this. I wish they added this. And it's just, I hope that game blossoms into something truly special because it's in a good spot right now, but it could use a little more oomph. And then
I didn't actually write it on this, but yeah, we did play this together. I played a couple of the bosses. I only beat the first one, but we did get pretty far into the second one. I think my problem with it right now is that none of the classes are really truly speaking to me, and the one that might have, they didn't execute it the way that I wanted them to.
No pun
ironically intended. Yeah. It's just like, he's the parry dude. I would love to play as a parry guy, but you can't dodge when you're in that mode, and you can't run when you're in that mode. It just feels like what a silly way to do that. I get what they were trying to do, and they weren't trying to make him like overpowered in comparison to people that can only dodge, but like it's kind of what his point should be, just like tighten up the parry windows. I feel like at that point, I don't know, a little bit silly. I wish that there was a character that was really, really speaking to me, and I think that's the only thing that's stopping me from really going through it. But I'm excited to get into it more over time.
Yeah. I guess we'll just have to see, and we'll have to play it some more too. Hopefully you can find a character you can actually jive with, because it was like when I was playing it with you, I was like, I'm frustrated that he hasn't found a character. Like, I'm frustrated that he's not enjoying.
It's disappointing because like I think the only character that'll really do it for me is like the default friggin' like
Night Wilder,
you know, whatever. Like that's like playing like a soldier in a hero shooter. You know,
there's nothing wrong with vanilla. It's all right. It's cool. He has an Artorias skin, so
that's true.
But yeah, that's what I'm playing right now. I'm getting back into Death Stranding though, so I'll save that for next episode. But I'm very excited to get back into Death Stranding. I played it here and there, and I'm just like,
Especially
God,
with Death Stranding 2 reviews are popping off.
yes, yeah, I'm really excited because I'm in the mode. I really enjoyed what I was playing of it, and I've just been so busy. And then now that like I'm in a video production cycle where I don't need to play the game anymore to make the video, I can focus on something else entirely. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't so long,
dude. Same.
I would give it a shot if it wasn't so long.
Fucking God, dude, I can't. I'm hearing about like the act structure of this game, and it's frustrating because it's like Act 1, 2 super long, 3 is the longest, and then 4, 5, 6 is like super short, and it's like, why did you structure the game like that, man? Like, why can't
Red Dead 2 ass?
Like, no, seriously. I hope it. I don't know. I hope I can get through it in a pretty brisk way. I don't think I'm going to do everything in it. I actually think I might kill myself if I do that. But I'm super excited to get into Death Stranding 2, just seeing tons of things about it.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. Tell me about. Okay, I'm sorry. Tell me about Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, dude. I love these games, and I want to know your experience with these.
So I have never really been into skateboarding games. The only ones that I've gotten into, or maybe the only one that I've gotten. No, I guess you would say there's two. Ollie Ollie World, which I really enjoyed for what it was, but that's also not a traditional skateboarding game. That's more of a offbeat platformer type thing with some tricks involved. Yeah, it's definitely not like a straightforward skateboarding game, and also not a straightforward skateboarding game. In fact, it's not even a skateboarding game at all. It's a rollerblade game. Is Rollerdrome, which was, if you know, it's the one where you're on that skate ramp and you're doing all this stuff, but you're also shooting enemies at the same time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like that game. I really like both games actually. But I never played like just pure skateboarding games. And then I think I just wanted to play something super casual on my Steam Deck, like something that was highly replayable. I could play at night. I didn't have to pay attention to the story or anything like that. And it wasn't so short that, like the experience was just over after a couple days. Like I had Blasphemous that I replayed on my Steam Deck, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then it was over. And then I was like, okay, I don't have like a casual game to play on here anymore. Kill Knight was one that I was playing for a while, but I was like, okay, once I've beat the levels and some of the waves and like replayed a little bit, it was like, okay, that's it. So yeah, I thought this was a really good one that I could just come back to from time to time, and I've been enjoying it. I am really bad at it.
Really?
Like, I am so bad at it. It's not computing. For a really long time, I was trying to like turn the camera with the right stick, but then you can't land properly. You keep going sideways.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at on the fly coming up with new tricks. Like I keep holding the directional thing in the same direction every single time. And I'm like, shit, I should be doing something more. I can't hold rail grinds for too long. I start overcompensating. I didn't realize how tough it was going to be, to be honest with you. I really thought that it was going to be more of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of difficult. But I've still been enjoying it. I'm playing through the tours, I guess. And I'm doing all of the activities individually. And to a point, there's an element of it where it seems like that wouldn't be fun, because I'm definitely not gracefully gliding through these areas and grabbing all of this stuff. But I feel like it's still, because it's like early in the learning curve, and I'm still learning how to do it. I do want to try and get some of the high score ranking things that are part of the tours, but I am not scratching anything
those ones
past
are
the third
I did
bottom.
the worst on those ones as well.
Yeah.
I love the little like task to do task activities.
Yeah,
those are really fun to do, especially like the mini secrets.
Especially the what? Sorry,
like the mini secrets where it's just like find the thing.
Oh yeah,
and it's like, where the fuck is that? And you can find like a cool little crevice in the map. The maps are so like well designed. I love.
They are really well designed. Yeah, it's one of those games that like I think I didn't even fully understand what to expect. I'd always seen that it was a skateboarding game. I always thought that it was going to be like a little bit simpler, more intuitive to control. For like somebody who didn't know anything about skateboarding or wasn't like super dexterous, I guess, in that way. And yeah, what I ended up getting from it was a little bit different than what I expected, but kind of what I needed. I think it's like a nice thing to try and master over time and come back to, and it's super, super low entry point. Like I can play it whenever, no matter what. I can play it between games. I can play it before going to bed. So yeah, I've been having a good time with them. I haven't played it too much, but I am glad that I picked it up.
It's in our nature to kill ourselves. It's in our nature to kill.
I have been hearing that one. Yeah,
soundtrack is. Oh, it's so good, dude. I'll
really
be at work with Isaac, and I'll just put on the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 soundtrack at work.
Nice.
Just listen to it. It's some good shit. Got Rage. Got Tribe Called Quest in there.
Yeah.
You got fucking I can't think of anyone else right now. That's embarrassing.
I haven't heard too much of the soundtrack, but yeah, what I've heard has been very good.
Yeah. Cool, dude. Love it. I'm really excited for 3 and 4. I haven't played those games, the original games.
Yeah.
So like I more of that would be awesome, because I was really disappointed by the time I finished all the activities in 1 and 2. I was like, I want more of this, but
for sure. Yeah. Also played Lies of P Overture. This is one that I was hoping to get to by the time I did the last podcast. I thought that I would maybe gonna scratch the surface of by the time we got to this one, but I actually finished it.
Nice.
It was really fun. I think it was one of those things where I got reminded of how good From Software is at their DLCs, that they create like the greatest moments of their games in their DLCs, and their DLCs like knock their games up a couple pegs a lot of the time. And this one was one of those DLCs where it was like, oh, sick, it's more Lies of P. It's like roughly at the same quality level of the original, which is fantastic. Like, Lies of P is an incredible game. So that's not me shitting on it, but it's just, it's... my brother, I think, had a little bit more of a higher expectation because of like the precedent that From Software has set. But that said, most of the DLC was really fun. It was, there's like a circus area, there's a zoo area. I like the fact that they were all themed differently, and you were fighting enemies that were kind of based off of that, and giant like long neck creatures and monkeys, and then these circus freaks, whatever. And in the circus, there were like these carnival games, and you would go and you would have like mini bosses and stuff like that. I was like, that's really cool. The bosses were, for the most part, really, really fun. Another strong, diverse group of the different style bosses, some like more lumbering ones, some very quick ones where you have to just parry the hell out of them. Some of the weapons were really fun. And that final boss it was really, really fun. I mean, there were a few bosses from the original Lies of P. I remember King of Puppets was one of my favorites. Nameless Puppet at the very end was a really good one. And then there were a few others during that where I was like, wow, this is like really, really fun.
I think isn't the last boss Walt Disney?
Yes.
That's cool.
That's
really cool.
It's Walt Disney in a Mickey Mouse costume. Yeah.
Oh, that killed it for me, man.
You wanted to just fight a dude?
Yeah, I just want to fight a frozen head. Is that
you wanted to fight a dude who was going around saying, "I hate the Jews."
Yeah, I do. I do want to fight a guy.
I kind of do. Yeah, isn't that? And that's how Wolfenstein was created. Yeah. No, the final boss is unironically Joker. The final boss of the Lies of P DLC is Joker.
He's the Joker, baby.
He's the Joker, but he's just like this mechanized version of him. And
it's end of Arkham Asylum Joker. Instead of steroids, it's cybernetics.
He kind of does look like him, but with cybernetics.
That sucks.
No, it's actually.
I'm sure in the context of the game, it's cool, but like from like outside looking in, that sounds like it sucks
for sure. That second phase kicked my ass, dude, consistently. It was brutal. Oh my god, that second phase, he has like 900 attack combos, and it only works because I mean there's a parry system in Lies of P, so you can tank through it and you can do some damage to his status bar. But oh my god, it takes a while to get that. But in comparison to the newest From Software DLC, Shadow of the Erd Tree, where the final boss of that one is like bullshit and you can't see things, and it had to be like fixed because there was one move that was practically impossible to dodge. This one still felt fair, just really, really difficult. So yeah, I mean, Lies of P, fucking fantastic game.
Yeah.
Really great DLC.
I gotta
And
get to
I'm
it.
so excited. I'm so excited for what this team does next. Like, I'm so impressed by them, and they're such good communicators also. I've been really happy with how they've been marketing and talking about their game and talking to people about stuff. So
Nice.
yeah.
Good for them.
And then yeah, last thing, I've hopped back into Red Dead 1, but I haven't spent too much time back with it. I took a break from it because I was playing the Last of Us games for that video, and then I just like have hopped back into it, and yeah, not a ton of updated thoughts on that one.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm excited to hear more eventually, but that'll just have to wait. So yeah.
Well, anyways, to close this out, we got my little indie corner, the indie game that I want you guys to put on your wish list. And the one for this, Landon, have you heard of this game? It's called The Pedestrian.
No, I was watching a video about it earlier though. Just kind of looking
Okay.
at it. It's pretty
Sick.
neat.
Yeah, I have a little blurb written over here. So yeah, there are a lot of puzzle games out there, and some of the most critically acclaimed ones are either simple but tough as nails, or they're really intricate and layered and complex. Like they'll play with perspective or turn a whole room or building into a giant puzzle. And these games definitely deserve a lot of praise, and they're immensely impressive, but the amount of truly great and approachable puzzle games is kind of slim, which is why I think Portal is so beloved. It hits that perfect balance between like anybody can get into Portal, but it also does work out your brain a little bit, and it's cool to see it all come together. To me, The Pedestrian, it's not quite at that quality level, but it's in a very similar camp to Portal. It's a game about the man or woman silhouette that you see on like traffic signs or like a bathroom stall or whatever. It's that symbol that's making its way through 2D puzzles in 3D in a 3D world. So the way the puzzles are set up is it's like a big canvas of movable puzzle pieces. So you need to connect each one to the other for you to like get out of this this section of the game essentially. So for example, one piece might have a door on the right side, and then you can connect that to a piece that has a door on the left side, and now your dude can walk through the door out into the other piece. And then it obviously gets more complicated from that. There's like jump pads and pressure plates, and you can walk through a connected door and then remove that connection, connect it to a different place, and then walk through that door, and just move the pieces around like they're not set in stone. It definitely ramps up, and there's a lot of permutations, and I also love seeing just the backdrop changing over time, because you go from like an interior, like a construction thing, and then into the sewers I think at one point, and then you go up into like a traffic light puzzle thing, and then you go to a really tall building, and obviously there's like stuff in between as well. But it's just really funny thing of like this one dude is the same guy throughout all of these signs, and he's just making his way through all of them. I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully I did a decent job explaining that. If you have access to the video version of this podcast, you'll obviously be seeing some gameplay on this. If not, you should go check it out. It is not the most brain-busting or adventurous puzzle game ever, but it's really great. It's really approachable. It's stylistically really cool. So go check it out. It's currently on all major platforms.
Cool. Yeah. What, it came out like 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, it came out 2020.
Cool.
Yeah, which doesn't feel like 5 years ago, but yeah.
Don't even get me started.
Anyways, everybody put The Pedestrian on your wish list. Also, again, leave your biggest gaming disappointments in the comments of this. Like I said, leaving a comment, sharing, reviewing, all of that stuff, really great, really helps us out. Landon, do you have anything to say before we log off here?
Yeah, I just didn't have fun the entire time I recorded this. I didn't like
This
this.
is feeling like the PAX episode when I just bullied you for that entire time, and your energy like slowly dipped. You were like, "I'm being pummeled." There's no resistance.
It was
here.
a full. I was Mark. You were Omni Man. Just
Yes.
It was bad.
Absolutely.
It was a whole bloodbath. But
What's 5 episodes? I can always go back, make another podcast.
Yeah, you can.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's so sad.
F's in the chat for my boy Landon.
Oh, I thought you said you have something in the chat. F's in the chat. No, I don't want to see a single F in the chat. I don't need your pity. In fact, this project's retired. So
yeah. All right.
It was nice
See
knowing
you never,
I
guys.
guess. Bye.
Bye.
Fucking assholes. Dude.